members. I'm Ryan. Hello.
I'm Anthony. I am two of three Choo Choo members. The third of which is currently dealing with some power issues, I guess.
That's okay. That's okay. So yeah, unfortunately, Chris is going to be coming on later. I told him my door is open. Not literally. There's strangers afoot. Um, but yeah, this is our first call aboard post PAX Unplugged. Yeah, Dan bringing up power issues still.
Yeah, he's trying to blame his neighbor who has a Tesla on his power issues, but I don't know how that's a thing. It could be. I
They
have
have
no
their
idea.
own power? Isn't that a thing?
Don't
I
know.
don't know. I don't know.
Well, you know what I do know though?
What?
I had a phenomenal time at PAX Unplugged this year.
Did you?
Yes.
Well. Tell me more. Tell me more.
Tell me more. Tell me more.
I was going to.
You know what? How I know it was so great?
Mm.
Because of how much fun I had, despite having a broken foot. Right, so I had to scoot around for 4 days around Philly and inside the convention center, and I still had a blast at this convention. Easily, I think my favorite one. Maybe, I guess the first one, just the spectacle of going to my first con, maybe has its own spot. But this was really really good. Did you
Yeah,
did you have a good con?
I did have a good con, despite having awful car towing issues on Thursday.
Yeah.
Woof.
Woof.
Almost $500 later, I still had a good time.
Another reason.
Another
Another
reason.
reason is just yeah. But to your point earlier, when that happened, at least we got most of those negative shenanigans out of the way early on,
Yeah,
and
we got whammed on the same day.
we all got whammed
We
in
all
the
got whammed.
restaurant. Yeah, yeah.
So
Mass murder wham.
it really was. It really was. Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Imagine, yeah. You're speaking of which, this is a good time to mention we do have a Patreon. It does not go towards any towing bills, but we are trying something new with our Patreon starting next year, where we're gonna have some new tiers, focused on probably the highest tier level we have, which is a $10 a month pledge, gets you an annual free gift every year. I believe we're doubling that now. I believe so.
2 free gifts.
Two free games if you are at the $10 pledge, and I think if you're at the $5 pledge, just a single game a year.
Yeah, that's math. Can't go wrong.
Yeah, it's
Can't
60
go wrong.
bucks. So we go with games that are on our review pile that we've gotten to. So we'd like to extend these games out to you, the patrons. So thank you for your support. Without that, we wouldn't be able to fund the StreamYard. We wouldn't be able to, we have such an awesome community on Discord. Oh my gosh, look at that. Brian Chandler with the math. Bargain at twice the price. Hello, Zoe.
Hey, Zoe.
And I did, and I waved at Zoe too. So I made sure to stop at the Unpub room, which was awesome this year.
Yeah, it was
I was very
huge.
happy. Oh my god! So they opened up a whole fourth floor of just what was it? It was just a whole
It was
fourth floor just playing games.
Yeah, everything was open. It was all tables and all first look and Unpub stuff and
Yeah,
free play area. And it was great. And because of that, I mean, the thing that we sort of always talk about is the crowds, right? And how many people. And I just saw rather a post that I think said this year's PAX was now like the second largest convention, I guess after Gen Con. And the fact that I felt it was less crowded, at least in the expo hall on the main floor, getting around. Last year on Saturday, I felt like I was really, really getting, tight up and like kind of like getting pushed along with the crowd. That
yeah.
happened to me once this year for like 30 seconds. I made one turn and then I was out of it. So I know there wasn't less people, that's for sure. But the fact that they had that extra room and moved some things around, I think made a huge difference.
Yeah, no, and that room too was amazing because it had such like a good ambiance. Like you weren't able to it
Yeah,
was a packed room and you weren't really able to hear like crazy amount of talking with each
yeah.
other. Um okay. Hang on. I do want to let people know that if you do want to call in, you just need to be a member of our Discord. Um, and in the chat, if you are in the chat, if you're in the green room, just wave at the camera really quickly, just so I know you're not a legit bot. Okay, cool. Just making sure you're not a bot. You wouldn't. You'd be surprised. We'll bring in I believe, first time caller.
Oh boy.
All right. So 3, 2, 1. Hello, David.
Hello.
Hi.
Can you guys
Hi.
hear me?
Good. How
Yeah.
are you?
Clearly. I'm good. Hi.
Welcome aboard.
Yeah,
So,
welcome to
were
Tabletop
you?
Express.
Tell us about your PAX Unplugged this year.
It was great. So this was me and Jamie, my wife. It was our second time going to PAX Unplugged. We went 2 years ago for the first time. I mean, the difference between that and this was like night and day. Like
Yeah.
you said, everything was way better laid out. It was like all the space for the actual like booths way more stretched, and it was awesome. It was a little bit overwhelming in some ways because it was our first time trying to do any kind of like content creation
Okay.
Yeah.
at PAX. So like we had like a couple of times where we had like arranged to go meet people and stuff, and it really like threw us for a loop in that way. But it was a good time. We had some friends. We got some good food.
No, it's awesome.
It was a ton of fun.
What channel are you with?
Jamie and David.
Oh, cool. Well, that's awesome. And it's so this was your second PAX or was it?
Hmm.
Okay,
Yep,
awesome.
second PAX.
So
And
you went
second
last time. Were you
convention.
also a content creator, or you just had a? Okay, so you
Nope.
made night and day. Okay, gotcha.
Yeah, and like last time we went for 3 days, and then this time we decided we were just going to go for one day, and then in between deciding to go for one day and PAX, we were like, man, we had like 20 something unplayed board games, and we were
Mm.
like, we gotta play through these. So we started like an unplayed board games challenge on our channel,
Oh,
and we
cool.
started a channel at all. Like we hadn't been doing anything, and we were like, well, this will be a good way to like get through our games and make us keep playing it. So we did that, and then of course we immediately went to PAX and restocked on games.
Of course.
But like both of us, we were like, man, we really should have just done 3 days again. So
Yeah.
now we're almost like flip flopping now, where we're like, no, next time it has to be 3 days. Like last time we went super casually, and we were like, we don't need three, we could just do one day and then relax. And then this time it's like, oh no, that ended up being a mistake retroactively. But I mean, we had no idea what we were going to be doing.
Yeah, it definitely takes a little getting used to. One of the big reasons why we typically go for all 3 days is kind of for that, so we can try to get a bit of a balance between, to your point, running around trying to get to a certain booth by a certain time, so you don't miss your time and throw everything off, but also just sort of being able to walk around and enjoy and explore some new things. So yeah, that's I think next year I agree. Yeah, go for the 3 days. Get a little bit of balance in there for sure.
Yes.
Well, and the unofficial fourth day, right? We're there Thursday.
Well, that's true. That's true.
Yeah, we're definitely gonna make a big event of it, like for ourselves next year.
Yeah, that's great. Where are you guys traveling from to get there?
Orlando.
Oh wow. Okay.
Yep. Hello.
Barely got echo.
Oh, do I? All right. A little echo? Look, I'm fighting PSE&G right now, everybody, but I was not going to miss this by all means. I may be in and out at some point, but yeah, here I am. Do I still have echo, or is it a little better?
Let me see. Do you have echo? No.
Better?
You're good.
Better.
Maybe.
Yeah, it's still there a little bit.
A little bit.
All right.
Way better though.
All right. I apologize. I wanted to make sure I got in here for a little bit before my PSE&G people get here and hopefully fix my problem. So, which is a PAX Unplugged story in itself. So
Yeah.
That's true. So David, what game stood out to you at PAX Unplugged?
I mean, a huge one for us was Oh, I can't. Of course, as soon as I try to think of it, I can't think of the name. Flock Together. That was. We were so excited to check that out. We love Everdell. We have everything of Everdell. We have the big box. We have Far Shore. We have My Little Everdell. We
Yeah.
have Everdell Duo. So anything with Andrew Bosley's art, we're just like we go crazy for.
I'm gonna pull that up.
So, yeah, we checked that out, and it happened to be. I mean, I don't know what hours he was there between, but when we went to the Flock Together booth, Andrew Bosley was there, as well as the game designer. So our box we had got autographed by both of them, which was really sweet.
Oh, that's awesome.
That was a big one. Clank Legacy 2 we picked up. We're excited for that.
Yeah.
Because we have yet to play a Legacy game, but we love Clank. We love deck builders, and we're like, this seems like a great like first Legacy game for us because
It is.
While the Legacy aspect is a first for us, the Clank aspect is not. So we're going into that knowing it's something to be excited for. We got a lot of really cool things. We checked out Button Shy games for the first time, and I had self-control. I only got 4.
Yeah, they are very difficult to resist, right? They're so small and so affordable. And
I know each one you're just like, it's only $10. It's only $10. It's only $10. And then you're just like, oh, I just bought a AAA game.
Yeah.
And they're good games. I mean, it's not like they're sacrificing
so
quality for quantity by any means.
No, not at all. They're definitely. I mean, they're the equivalent of just like like the banger $5 indie game that you see on like a Steam sale, and you pick it up and you just spend like 300 hours playing it. Like it's the same. They're really good.
That's a very fair comparison.
Yeah.
It's interesting too. I was over there, I will tell you, and there's a few that thankfully we actually were given to review, and I noticed I found it interesting. One of the ones that we were given was The Walking Dead, and I was like, wait a minute, IP game, which really only happened I think once before because they had an X-Files one, I think way back when, very early on. So it's not often that they do IP games. So they're still expanding, still putting out new and interesting stuff. So I'm intrigued by that one. I have to tell you, I haven't got the code yet.
Yeah, I saw that and I was like, ooh, this looks good, but it also looks. I was like, I want simpler Button Shy games at the moment. But that one looked really, really good. But I was like, maybe I wait till that'll be my second foray into kind of the Button Shy games universe, so to speak.
Yeah.
Which Button Shies did you pick? Any that jumped to the table? Because there's so many good Button Shies these days.
So I picked up Food Chain Island because I wanted a solo game, and that seemed really up my alley. And I've already played it like a dozen times, and I'm like, I want to win it. I just want to do it. I want to win it on like the hardest difficulties and the different like layouts and stuff.
Yeah,
it's so fun because it's one of those games that is. I mean, it takes you 2 seconds to set it up, and it's really deceptively challenging. Like all the little different abilities of the animals. It's just so smooth, I suppose is the easiest way to say it. But it has a lot of like emergent strategy where it's like, oh, I could do this, or I could do this, and then this and that. And then all of a sudden it's just like, oh, there's so many possibilities here. And of course it's different every time because you're randomly laying out the island of animals. Yeah. We also picked up the other ones we haven't played yet, but we picked up Sprawlopolis because everyone says it's amazing, and we have heard nothing but great things, and we're like, this looks up our alley. We picked up Picky Pixie because we love deductive games like logic puzzles, so that seemed really cool. And then because we really love we travel a lot together. We love having small travel games, especially because we take a lot of cruises, and cruises have really tiny little tables in all the bars. So we love games that we can play mostly, at least, in our hands. We travel with Love Letter a lot. So we were talking about that, and the person at the Button Shy booth was like, oh, you should get Revolver Noir. It is played entirely in your hands and is like a 2-player kind of versus outthinking your opponent game. So we're really excited to check that out.
Nice. So you made the most out of PAX this year.
We tried. Yeah,
Yeah.
we got to demo a few things. We got to meet a couple of people. Not nearly as many as we would have liked for sure, but we just like got so strapped for time. And I
Yeah.
mean, the day went by so quickly. We're definitely going to do a lot of things different next year. I mean, we lost like between getting there, going to lunch, coming back from lunch, and then like leaving at the end of the day. But that one doesn't really matter. But we lost like probably an hour to coat check, and that alone, we're like, no, we're bringing smaller coats that we could just carry, and if we're a little bit cold outside on the way, whatever.
Yeah. All right. Well, where could people find your channel?
So at the moment, we're just on TikTok. It's Jamie and David.
Cool.
Although we are planning on reposting our videos and starting to post maybe some longer form content stuff to YouTube as well. So both
Awesome.
locations.
Feel free to drop it in the
And-
chat then for sure.
Yep, sure.
Yeah, and kudos to you for what you're doing on TikTok. Highly engaging, which I think is it's easier said than done. So I've
Thank you.
certainly appreciated what I've seen in our own limited time on TikTok, which really was the past 3 weeks. By the way, we're on TikTok.
I mean, that's not too much longer than we've even just been doing it. Honestly, we got really lucky that our video about our like board game storage system that I made really exploded, and that really helped kind of jumpstart everything. But
Nice.
no, it's been great interacting with everybody and like meeting folks like all of y'all and such, and chatting with everybody on TikTok. Like the whole board game content creation community has been like insanely welcoming and like loving and kind. So it's been a really, really cool experience getting to meet and chat with everybody.
Totally. Well,
That's
thanks so
awesome.
much for calling in.
Yeah, and welcome to the Discord too. I see you're officially in as well. So
Yes, did join into there for sure. Yeah, I saw that it said like, oh, make sure you remember. I was like, oh, cool. Let me click that and join. It was like link didn't work, and I was like, well, I'm gonna join this thing anyway, and then hopefully just get it sorted afterwards.
We're gonna get that link fixed. I dropped in the newer link in the
Mhm.
in the chat. So
Yes, I did
Cool.
see that. Oh, and yeah, let me, as you said, it's I mean, it's wickedly simple. It's
yeah, they make it pretty easy. Well, thanks for calling in, David, and
Absolutely.
stick
Thanks for
around and
having me.
watch the rest. We have a whole queue of people lined up. So
Oh, for sure. Looking forward to hearing people's pack
Awesome.
stories. See
see you
y'all.
later.
thanks.
Barros,
Time caller.
when's PSENG coming?
I don't know. I'm doing what. Look, I told my better half I wasn't missing this, so I was gonna make it happen. Even if I had to bounce at one point to deal with them. But
Yeah.
hey, we got callers. They're a lot more important than
We
my
do, we
PSG
do.
story. I will just tell people the reason I say this is a PAX story is while we were playing games, I got a call that PSNG had come to my house because my power was out in my house and there's like a burnt wire and all this stuff. Apparently they did not fix it because here we are exactly pretty much nearly a week to the time, like off by 1
6
day,
days.
right?
Yep.
And boom, same issue. So
Yeah.
not happy. But callers make me happy. So let's do callers.
Well, years ago we met this caller at PAX Unplugged, and he hasn't left. This guy. So let's bring him on in 3 seconds. 3, 2, 1. Hello, Dan.
Yeah.
Oh,
How you guys doing?
Good. How are you?
excellent.
Not bad. I'm sticking around for a little bit. I kind of like you guys. I like
Aw.
everyone. We're getting together this weekend again, right? This is PAX is every weekend.
Yeah, we're
sure.
tomorrow morning we'll be back on the road again, I think.
Yeah, maybe.
It'd be I was about to say it would be a good Groundhog Day kind of thing, but getting the parking ticket in tow every time.
Yeah. Well,
there's
there's new developments. I had a check engine light go on yesterday.
Oh,
so,
mine went on
fantastic.
today.
there you go. See, we're
Oh my god.
PAX never leaves you. You can leave PAX, but the PAX can't leave you. So
Can I just say this though, Dan? We accomplished something this PAX Unplugged. So for people who don't know, I had a chance, Dan and I met at PAX Unplugged. And we met, and it turned into a tradition of us going and doing a demo of a game with Rock Manor Games every year. So now we do that. But we, for 2 years, had said we got to get together and play Seas of Havoc. We finally did it. We played a game of Seas of Havoc. So I just got to say, we made it happen. And I am pretty grateful to Rock Manor because, again, without Rock Manor, we don't sit down at a table together, and we're not here right now. So pretty grateful for that.
Exactly. 2 years ago, we did the the 3 games: Seas of Havoc, Maximum Apocalypse, Set a Watch. Last year it was Star Driven Gateway, and this year it was their Disco Laundry heist. But yeah, Seas of Havoc. I mean, we finally got to play it together. We played at the full player count of 5 people. Anthony was in there. Espen viewed for a little bit.
Yeah.
And
I walked away and I came back and you guys were all playing. I'm like, oh, okay.
Oh man, really? I didn't know that happened. I'm sorry.
No, it's okay.
Did I take your place?
No, I never signed up. So
Oh. Well, I didn't really sign up.
I played something else. I forget what though.
I think Dr. J took the last spot. Pretty sure. Hey,
That guy.
don't mess with the doctor.
I won't. So Seas of Havoc. Is this like a Take Daddy kind of game? Because I was trying to decipher.
Is this like a what?
Like how aggressive it was. Like, is it a Take That kind of endeavor?
It was for me.
It looked a little bit at times.
No,
Stealing.
The timing mechanism is the deck of damage cards, and the way those go down is to attack the other players. So can definitely be a Take That, but everyone's getting hit unless you're just running away from everyone.
And there's really not that many places to run, especially in a 5-player game.
Yeah, the board
like
looks
you said,
small.
The grid's not that big.
You go off the one side, you come on the other.
Yeah, the Pac-Man rules. This
Right.
was very entertaining to play. Very very happy that you taught this, and it was definitely fun to just turn around, blast people, ram them from behind, try to escape around a rock, and
Phrasing.
Sure.
we didn't even add the Kraken in either, Anthony.
No.
There's the Kraken you can add into the game.
release the
really?
Kraken. What does it do?
I haven't ever done it.
You gotta
So
unleash it. And find
I
out.
just know that the Kraken, I'm pretty sure there's like multiple arms and stuff. I don't know. It could be explored. I own it. So, but it's a fun game. And it's one of those games that for me has been, I've played it solo, but I'd never played it with people before. So this was actually the first time I played with people, and we played a full game. So it was pretty awesome to see with, 5 people at the table. And yeah, it was hard to get away at a certain point because I kind of got cornered, but you don't really feel too, angry about the fact that you got taken out because it makes sense, right? Like when I think Take That, I think it's very like, it almost feels bad at some point. And in this case, like, no, I get it. I'm an easy target. You may as well do it.
Well, Dan, what game stood out to you the most this year at PAX Unplugged?
Well, I'm gonna stick with Rock Manor since that's a tradition. I really enjoyed our demo play of Disco Laundry Heist, where it's kind of like an 80s themed. Each of you is a faction. I think Chris was like the Run DMC type. Anthony was the Mafia. I was like the computer intelligence gatherer, and I think the other one player was kind of like Muscle or something like that. But you're going around to different locations, gathering heat. Where if you get too much heat, the police get onto you. You're trying to recruit crew, and perform heists to get points. And then not only do you get the points for that, but then you got to launder it to actually get the winning points that will be the condition to win the game. And it just really felt like small. I mean, any game you're going to find small things from other games, but the combination of the small things from the other games put together felt unique to me, if that makes sense.
I guess.
Yeah, it was interesting because you did also have to think ahead with this one. So you had to you really did have things strategically of what do I need to get done. You also had the mechanic of the police are coming around, right? And you know where they're going. So you have a sense of where they're going. So you've got the ability to potentially get away from them, but you've got to also think about where you're trying to go. And the missions that you can accomplish outside of your personal missions are ever changing. So I thought that was different in there's a limited time to get certain heists done versus your personal heist, which you had all the time in the world to get done, but it wasn't that impactful. Like it was a very small reward, that first one.
Yeah.
And
This was a cool. This was a cool concept. I do love the aspect of you gain the money from the heist, and you can have a ton of it in front of you, but it doesn't translate the points until you're able to do that laundering action. And going back to what you said about the police, the more the game goes on and the more heat, the police kind of up their game too, and they start, kind of busting out some other tactics, like they have their car or they have roadblocks or intel and stuff like that. So it gets even harder to accomplish what you're trying to do. There was, I guess, a little too much of the sort of programming aspect, which is always something I kind of struggle with strategy wise. So for me, I felt like I was always behind the curve. By the time I was able to muster up what I needed to maybe possibly finally get to one of those locations, it was already off the board. So that's my player error there. But as a whole, this was a fun looking and entertaining play for sure.
Yeah, you're not flush with resources. You're always planning how to get the resources and timing it with your heist still being there. So it very much felt like you're behind the 8 ball and never going to get there.
Yeah, it was a tough one.
But very much enjoyed that. And just to mention 2 quick other things.
Yeah.
One on personal. There's a game that my daughters love called Sabotage. I don't know if any of you have ever seen that one.
How do you spell that?
Sabobatag.
Yeah. Found it.
And it's a card game. It's very take that. I stopped by the booth to talk to Eric, the designer at Moco Games, and he handed me an expansion pack and was like, "Here, let me know what you think about this. Have more fun with the girls." So I'm just like, they love it. They saw that was their favorite thing that I brought home. And like I said, it is a take that game, but I find that as I play with my kids, I don't really want to hit them too much, but they love hitting me.
Sure.
So
That's
yeah,
awesome.
so Sabotage and Disco Laundry Heist, had to talk about those 2.
Yeah.
And of course, just hanging out with everyone, because obviously that's the best part.
It was fun. Yeah.
I will say I definitely really enjoyed also our games of Rebel Princess.
Oh, yeah. I figured you'd bring that one up.
Yeah. I mean, look, I'm pretty sure we sold it to a few people. I sold it to myself by buying it, having not played it at all. And then after playing it, multiple people told me, "Oh, I went to go buy it."
Yeah.
It was a pretty
and
hilarious trick taker where the whole goal is to make sure your princess doesn't get as many suitors interested in them. I thought that was really clever.
I love that the 8 card is the frog.
Yeah, the frog, the frog prince.
Yep.
Man, where is that frog prince?
Yeah, what did that have? That had like five
proposals on the frog prince.
That
yeah.
frog was after you, Anthony.
Yeah, I
Like you're
know.
rolling
I was
your
trying to shoot the moon that one round and just embracing all the suitors, but of course one of them didn't get to me, and I ended up.
Oh, here's the frog.
Points.
The frog prince. Yeah.
That's funny because that was my strategy one round, and Greg had a not safe for work phrase for what happened to me, so we'll keep that off. We'll keep that off. But yeah, this game was great, and Chris, we were saying this at the time, just like Spots, you introduced that, and like how many people bought it already? Like
oh my gosh, it was crazy. And again, I bought it blind because I heard about it from Chewy Huey, who I don't know if he's here tonight, but he told me how good it was at one point. So I trusted my gut on this one. Yeah, it's so good. Especially because in this game, every round is different because you don't know what's going to change. So you're going to flip over a new card every round, and there's wild rules that get introduced, which I just think is fun because it makes every game different. So yeah, this was a gem.
That combined with the fact that your princess that you play as has an ability that they can do once per round also, or is it once per round or once per game? I forget.
Once
Once per round.
Yeah, yeah. And I was impressed with how many different princesses came right in the box. There was at least probably 10, right?
I think so. Yeah.
Yeah.
That was good value for sure. Honestly, if I had it, if we got more trick taking games to the table personally here, I would have considered picking it up. But the fact that you have it means I don't have to. So thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Sarah.
I'll be happy to play it anytime. Anytime.
Cool.
Excellent.
All right. Well, thank you, Dan, for calling in. Stick
Absolutely.
around in the chat as we decipher more about
Will do.
PAX Unplugged.
Thank you
Thank
all,
you.
and appreciate the time you spent in getting us together on Saturday night again. And
Yeah.
can't wait to do it whenever we can the next time, if not next year.
Less than a year. Let's
Yeah.
aim for that.
Less than a year if we all are at PAX Unplugged.
We got
Have
20
to make
days
the
left
track.
in this year.
The trek up north.
All right. Later.
All right, fellas.
Awesome. Bye, Dan. Go Birds.
Go Birds. So
So,
we got a new first-time caller calling in.
Oh man,
Yep.
That's
Yep.
two.
Yep. I brought him into the fold, boys.
are you sure he's not a bot?
Well, no, he's not a bot. He's actually a Ghostbuster, but he's also a board gamer. So I'm gonna bring him in 3, 2, 1. Hello, Jeff.
Welcome.
I'm not a
Hey, Jeff.
Cylon, I promise.
You wouldn't believe what happens here.
How y'all doing?
Good. We have a little echo on your end.
Oh, my, no, I know why. Sorry.
No worries. But yeah, I was excited to hear that Jeff was going to be coming over to PAX Unplugged because, we share multiple hobbies together of Ghostbuster cosplay and now board gaming.
Yeah,
So,
and I got to partake and meet all y'all and play some games. That was fun. I appreciate the invite to come hang out.
yeah, absolutely. So, Jeff, tell us what are some games that stood. Well, actually, first, how is this PAX compared to other PAXs?
I really enjoyed the new space on the 4th floor. That gaming space, I would just go to that event just for that gaming space.
Yeah.
I never really in PAX's past. I never really enjoyed the open gaming space. It's so loud, and I have hearing issues the older I get, so it makes it makes it difficult to hear. No problem up there. It's wonderful.
Yeah, you could easily spend an entire day in that area for sure.
Cool.
Saw you all were playing some Cthulhu Death May Die.
Ooh.
yeah. Uh-oh, am I jumping the gun here?
Ooh, I could talk about that.
Oh,
That we botched some rules.
Yeah.
That's okay.
it's
But you know
a
what?
co-op. You're allowed to do that.
But we made some things harder than they had to be. We made some
That's
things
true.
easier than they had to be. So technically, we won on an asterisk.
Mhm.
But they did warn you may die.
Right.
I did die
You did die.
very quickly.
And Cthulhu can die too, which is what he did, right?
He did.
Excellent. See?
Yeah.
You did it.
Yeah.
But,
I'll be
I
back,
got-
though.
I was massacred. I didn't just die. I was like completely and utterly obliterated. Then the rest of you guys went and won without me. So
Your heart wasn't in it, Barrows.
That's true.
there was like 5 people attacking me. I wasn't going to live.
Well, listen, when you decide to Leroy Jenkins it, what do you want me to tell you?
Exactly.
Without that sneak ability, you can't. Don't get in that fold.
We got to stick together.
I
It
did
was a
stick with you.
crowded.
That was the
It was a
mistake.
crowded board. There
All you
were
had
a
to say
ton
was
of
like, "Hey
things.
guys, I'll be right back," and then
That's what I should have done.
you
I
fall
should've-
into the trope.
It gets overwhelming. very
No,
quickly.
this game was a blast. I'm finally happy that I could say I have played Cthulhu Death May Die, and I think if I were to get it, I would just stick with like the base box. There's a lot in that base box alone.
There is the thing that with CMON games, as we all know,
Mhm.
the Kickstarter exclusives and all that, love them, hate them. We won't get into that, right? The one thing that is in there that is absolutely great is the scenarios and the extra old ones, because it completely changes up the game. You play it one time, scenario 1 with Haster, and then you play it another time with Cthulhu. It's 2 totally different games. I really wish they would just put out scenarios and old one boxes and just I don't need another 46 investigators.
I think they have there's a Kickstarter going on right now.
There
I
is,
know
yeah.
there's a lot. There's a lot in that Kickstarter, you know.
Yeah, and then they also, unlike a lot of CMON games, they've gone back and they're offering the older Kickstarter exclusive boxes that you can buy. So if
Right.
you really want it all, now's the time to get it. But it'll cost you a small fortune.
Yeah, for real.
Sorry, my dog's grumbling.
No, it's
It's
okay.
not like me spending money.
No. So what game stood out to you the most though at PAX Unplugged?
Oh, honestly, I didn't spend too much time playing new things. I played a lot of old things, and I spent time in the Unpub area and spent a lot of time playtesting a game I'm designing and other
Yeah.
games that friends of mine are designing. So
Yeah, no, I'm excited. I saw a brief. I saw you play. You were teaching it to someone there, and yeah, it was fun to see. So
yeah, it's a neat process. It's funny. I went into the Unpub space, which, by the way, Unpub, if you don't know them, it's the Unpublished Network. They help amateur game designers, get areas to play their games, and I'm sure people can talk more about it, but it's great activity, great organization. So I went in there and I had just made some changes, and I was like, I played it like 3 or 4 times here before I took it there, and I was like, man, this game is singing right now. It is firing. I love it. Put it in front of the first person, and I realized that I defeated myself on the fact that my game, I want it to be entry level, like people can jump in and play and not be rules heavy, and I added complexity. And there's something a friend of mine, he's a game designer, Tim Armstrong, always says. He's like, you have a budget of complexity in a game, and where do you use it? If you only have 10 complexity points, you can't. You got to be careful where you put it. And I put it in the characters, and that just really jammed it all up.
no, hey, I mean, it's awesome that you had the opportunity to do that, to showcase it to potential customers, and potential board game players of your game, So it's nice to have that outlet, and I'm excited to see the final product,
Me too. It's been a long journey. One day I'll get there. I will say I've got great feedback, and I'm going to go back and hit it again and redo it and just keep plugging at it until I get it.
Yeah.
Don't build giant map games when you're first design. That's a great story. Stick to small stuff. It's easier.
Small stuff for sure. No, that's awesome.
Yeah. So I also got to play some games with you all. We played Fromage. That it's a beautifully fun little game. It gives my comment on Fromage is always it's got the number one. It's always, to me, it ends before I want it to end, which is probably the best problem a game can have. You're like, I want more. I'm not done yet. Let's go back.
Yeah, I was able to get 2 games of this in, and yeah, I liked it. For what it is, I think it does a pretty solid job. It always, I mean, it's very much, you're doing and sitting and doing your own quadrant of this rotating board. But I like the small focus, of these 4 mini games.
Yeah, exactly. The 4 mini games is fun. It's an interesting dynamic. Some of it's a little gimmicky, like the spinning board and all that, but at the same point, I wouldn't want it any other way. Like it's fun.
Yeah.
I can add fun to watch, even though I wasn't playing it. Like I was enthralled with just what's happening, even though I wasn't the player. So,
yeah, you didn't get a chance to play it.
No, but we'll correct that. I'll play it.
We'll correct that because I still want to try it at 2-player as well too.
Yeah, I was going to ask, how does it work when it's less than 4? Does it what changes?
So the boards have like these little smaller boards you could slide underneath it to block off specific spots.
Yeah, it's like these weird inserts that slide in there, and it just says like, "Hey, this spot's not available now."
It's very satisfying.
You still do 1 quarter turn each time, right?
Mm-hmm.
Right. Yeah, I quite enjoyed this. I really did. I thought it was a unique, combination of mechanics, and I thought the art was gorgeous. I like that there is some stuff that you're doing on your own personal player board as well. Managing some resources, and like to your point, Jeff, it's one of those games where you wish you had like one more turn. And there's a lot of games like that. We talk about the tightness of them and how that can feel frustrating sometimes, but it's also a testament to how some point how good the game is if you want that little bit extra.
Yeah.
Right. The other thing that I love about it's simultaneous play. That's a newer, like to me, I think we're getting ready to hit another very cool, like, I don't want to say renaissance in game design, but like to me, the simultaneous play in games that are like this, that, it's a worker placement, but being able to place all your workers at one time and not have to wait your turn is fantastic. In game design, I always like to, I watch the other players, and if I see people pick up their phones and playing with their phones, I'm like, all right, either I don't have them engaged or the turn time is too long.
Mhm.
Yeah.
And
That's a
you can't
good
do
point.
that in Fromage. It's
Yeah.
like, play. I'm
Yeah.
done.
And there's that tricky balance too, because you are given an option to put all your workers out. So you need to really be conscious as to,
Mhm.
if I do this, I could be boning myself next round.
Yeah, I've definitely. I mean, then there's times where you want to do it, right? That's the
Yeah.
fun part. Is like, man, I really think I can steal the one of the different little mini games if I just put 2 guys down now
Mhm.
and just like I'm just gonna sacrifice this mini game and know I'm not really gonna to score well in it. And I don't know. It's a very fun little puzzle.
All right. So thank you for calling in for your first time.
And hopefully not my last. If I did really bad, it might be. But
No.
No.
No, you did fine. You did fine. So I would give it, I'd give it a solid 8. Give it a solid 8.
nice. I like 8. 8's a great number. It's perfectly infinite.
Out of 5. I
Yes, but
didn't
hey,
talk about my scale, by the
8
way.
out of 5. Holy moly, that's great. But no, I want to say it was awesome meeting you all. Ryan, I've met you obviously. But everyone else from Call Aboard, they were all fantastic and fun to play with. And thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah, hang
Bye,
out with you
everyone.
too. See ya.
Cool.
Fromage.
Yeah, Fromage. I definitely am going to give it a try at 2 and 1. Just because I want to see what that's like. And our next caller definitely want to talk about this game, talk about Fromage. Because I know she tackled it solo, and she brought the real thing on Saturday.
That's right.
So I'm going to bring in Arwen in 3, 2, 1. Hello, Arwen.
Cheese.
Hey,
Hello.
y'all. What's going on?
Howdy. I still have my cheese badge, just so you know.
Good.
And
I'm very glad.
I just want you to know there was like a whole stack of them left on the table. So all the unclaimed ones I just threw into my copy of Fromage.
Perfect.
So
And you can share and you can play the home game
There-
over and
exactly.
over again. It's great.
you know.
I love that.
So welcome, Arwen, back to the show.
Thank you for having me once again. I am currently recovering, not getting a lot of sleep or trying to get more sleep anyways. I did my hair and it just went crazy. So I'm just like, whatever, it's fine.
That's okay.
It's all good.
Danny's happy to see you. And Spooky Ghost Games. Look at
Oh
that.
yeah, hello. I just met Spooky Ghost Games for the first time at PAX. So
Oh, cool.
very good. Yeah, but an interesting PAX for sure this year. Super busy. Sadly didn't get to spend a huge amount of time with y'all. We ran into each other while we were at the home too. I think our paths kind of crossed, and then like people were in the middle of a game and all of that, and it just happens. And I think not being at the home too definitely didn't help with that.
Yeah.
Well, you had access directly to the convention hall where you were, so it was also.
Yeah.
I know it doesn't have the vibe of the home too, which is the reason why we always try to stay there. But at the same time, I can imagine the convenience makes it hard to be like, I don't really want to go outside.
It was super nice because you didn't have to carry your coat with you. You were able to just basically run back to your room, take the elevator up, dump stuff off, and that was it. And I think that they did a really good job, with that, and with the entrance and everything. I think it's super convenient. Unfortunately, the vibes are just off there. Like, you are going there to stay. Just about every single time we went down the lobby, like those tables around the center bar and everything were just taken. So you really couldn't move. You couldn't play a huge amount of games down there. I did get one played, just because we were both basically trying to figure out like a place to meet, and we did, get a little place that was, right by the doors that they had there. So I really do miss the play space and the vibes of the Home 2. I think that that's much better. I also miss the access to, the amenities of that as well. And if I'm not mistaken, I don't know if the rooms have gone on sale yet or if they're just already sold out at this point.
Well,
So here's the deal. If you're with Home 2, I can say this for people. I couldn't book Home 2 until 2024 last year. So that said, I do want to tell people, because I saw Spooky Ghost Games had noted, are they booking rooms for next year? I said days in and they're already sold out if I'm to believe the website. But I don't always believe the websites because, and I'm not sure yet, because I know we've already talked about the fact that there's a marathon, right? At the same time.
Philadelphia Marathon is the same time as PAX Unplugged next year.
Right. But that said, some of the hotels may not be booked out completely just yet. Like it may be misleading because technically speaking, I don't think the Home 2 Suites is completely booked out yet. I just don't think the rooms are available yet because that's what it was last year for me.
Released the block, basically.
Right. Like they like it's 9 months out or something. You know what I mean? It's 9 months probably at best. So 9 months, 10 months, whatever it is. So don't like, I don't want people to get, upset or like, oh, I'm not gonna get a hotel just yet. Like don't freak out yet. And if there's another solution, and I'll say it right now, if it turns into we need like a Tabletop Express Airbnb, I mean, I'll go that route if I have to, if that's what it's going to be, so I'll be at PAX Unplugged one way or the other, but ideally the Home 2 Suites. I mean,
yeah. And I feel like too, with Home 2 Suites, I don't think the Saturday was as lively as usual, and I think part of it might be because of the free play area. That new free play area was popping, and rightly so.
Yeah, it was outstanding. I mean, that fourth floor, I think it was a very wise decision to have it up there. For those who did know about it, and were able to go up there, they also basically had to, walk right past Unpub, which is fantastic exposure for Unpub. And I think that is something that I don't know if it was intentional or not, but I was really happy to see that. And the only reason I knew about the free play area is because I was on my way up to Unpub.
Same.
And saw that and was very glad to see that. So
yeah, it was a pleasant surprise. By the way, those of you staying at home with the ongoing news of the Barrows power outage, PSENG has arrived, which is why Barrows stepped away.
Okay.
Okay, resume back to PAX Unplugged. So this PAX Unplugged compared to other PAX Unplugged, how would you rank it?
So it was definitely great. I mean, there were a lot of highlights for me, which cheap plug, you can go listen to my podcast. The latest episode has all the rundown with Jamie as well, which was a lot of fun. We do our usual ride along and you get to listen to what we thought. But I think there was a lot to like about it. There were some times that, especially Saturday, things were so crowded that I had to step away. especially some of the aisles. A lot of the aisles that were going towards the back of the hall were fine, like as far as width goes, but the cross, basically running right parallel to the entrance seemed to be a little bit narrow, and there was a lot of congestion there. So from getting to aisle, unless you were going all the way to the back, or if you were all the way at the front, it was definitely congested, and it was getting a little bit, a little bit too much for us. And I heard multiple people say that.
Okay.
But it was a great PAX, got to see a lot of people, got to have dinner with Roberta Taylor and Helena from KTBG, which was amazing. We got to play Yum Yum Island and have Thai food with Josh Wood, who's the designer of Santa Monica and Let's Go to Japan, which was amazing. What a great guy he was, and what a lot of fun we had with that on Sunday night. By the way, I highly recommend staying Sunday night because I was actually able to play some games Sunday. The con was just done, and we got to relax. It was a lot easier, to kind of coordinate that once the expo hall was done, because all those obligations were kind of done and some people were going home. So highly recommended.
So what game stood out to you at PAX Unplugged this year?
So the one that I played, actually, can I have two?
You can have two.
Okay, thank you. So I'll do one that I played and one that I am very, very much looking forward to. The one that I played is by Arcane Wonders. It is Foundations of Metropolis. And
I saw you playing that.
I am going to do a actual review of this on the show, but I'll give everybody a little bit of a preview. It is a very simple, if you've played Acquire before, you are bidding for property, or not bidding for properties, you're basically buying up properties. You put your little marker, whether it's yellow, gray, whatever, on the space that you've just bought up. And for one of your turns, if you have the shape, basically a square or a long boy or whatever, that matches something on your board, you can place that out. And it's going to give you some sort of benefit, whether it be improving your ability to make money every time you collect income, or your points earning potential, etc. So there's a lot of fun balance there. It is a very simple system to jump into and teach people. I thought that they did a fantastic job with that. So this is a re-implementation of Foundations of Rome, which was, a very grandiose scale. It's usually around the $230 to $250 range. And a lot of people kind of got turned off from the system with that. I mean, I didn't want to. Yep, me. Exactly, Mr. Coaster.
A lot of plastic.
Yeah,
it's so much plastic. It's a big investment. And Arcane Wonders basically stepped back and said, hey, we have a great system that's not really accessible to a lot of people in its current state. Let's scale it back a little bit. Let's make something that is more approachable. I think the MSRP on this might be like $40-ish, if I'm not mistaken. And the production value for this is also very good. There's a good insert that keeps everything in place. And you lay everything out on your player boards and it fits nicely back into the box. There's just a lot to like here. And we really, really clicked with this one. I played it at the home too. We came over Saturday night and, it was a good time. We really enjoyed it. Had a fantastic time. This one's staying around for a while. And it has me thinking about Foundations of Rome, but I'm not sure that I want to make that investment quite yet.
It's such a big box too.
It is.
It's a whole Kalax cube.
It kind of is like a piece of furniture, honestly.
Yeah.
It has it's like soft closed drawers. It's crazy, but it was a lot of fun.
Yeah, I definitely want to try. I haven't done Foundations of Rome, and I feel like Foundations of Metropolis are made for the people like me that exactly said, "Well, I'd like to try it, but this game's way too much for what you're offering."
Yep.
You know. Yeah, I definitely want to try Foundations of Metropolis.
And Emerson Matsuchi is usually, his designs usually hit with me pretty well, and this was no exception. Like this was a home run for me.
So what was the second game?
So the second one was a game that I picked up at the Indie Games Night Market, and I have to keep saying that, which was an event, if it hasn't been talked already. Basically, people were able to come in, they were able to bring their own products, their games that they designed, and they were able to sell them directly to people. So if you didn't have a publisher for something, you were able to just go and sell it direct to consumer. And this was something that I wanted to be very successful. I didn't know how many people were going to show up. Just from
super successful.
Yeah. Just from the standpoint of, sometimes games don't necessarily have a publisher that is interested in, whether it's a niche idea or they just don't think that the theme will sell or whatever it is. Having the ability to have a venue where you can just sell that directly to the consumer, I think is fantastic. And it was wildly popular. So one game that really caught my eye was Torchlit. And this is a trick-taking game. Not that I usually need more trick-taking games in my life, but this game was very interesting and very visually appealing. And after diving a little bit more into it and hearing the designer's pitch, I was sold on it. What you're going to be doing is you are going to be playing tricks, and basically anytime that you win a trick, you get to move up on this this little row, which might be in the there you go.
Yeah,
you get to move your meeple up in this row of how many tricks that you've won. The person who played the lowest number of the trick actually gets to be the dungeon master and takes all the cards that were played in the trick, and they get to choose one card per suit and place that value in a column. What that column represents is points that you're going to get at the end of the round for getting that many tricks. So you're moving your meeple up and you're trying to take a certain amount of tricks, but at the same time, you're also trying to buffer the amount of tricks that you want to take. In addition, you set a card aside, and that is your bid for how many tricks that you're going to take. If you get it, you get a bonus. If you don't get it, that card also goes out onto the board and basically becomes extra points for those who were on that space at the end. So it's a really, really interesting system. I'm really excited to play this one. This one's on my short list with Canopy Evergreen. And I really want to see what this is going to do, because the more that I read about it, the more excited I am to get it out to the table.
Man, that sounds like a really interesting, tug of war of like deciding if I want to do points or if I want to. Yeah, it's a lot of layers going on, which is pretty exciting.
Anytime you get to make decisions like that and really have a lot of complex choices, I'm in on it.
So right now, these two meeples that are in slot number 5 are going to get 4 points.
Yep.
Wow, that's cool. As long as they
amazed at how many variations and twists people can come up with for trick taking. It's amazing.
And I keep saying at some point they're going to run out, but they just don't.
Yeah. No, they're
There's
always
just more.
there's a lot of really interesting ones. I was very happy with Rebel Princess. This one looks pretty exciting.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Rebel Princess was great too. That
Mhm.
one has hit the table a few times at this point.
Yeah. Cool.
Those were
so-
my two.
So Arwen, be sure to drop in the chat the link to your latest cardboard time.
Mhm.
It's always awesome seeing you.
Always awesome seeing you as well. And
we didn't talk about cheese at all.
We didn't talk about
Oh my
cheese at all.
Let's talk super quickly about cheese because that was so
Okay.
good. That was so good.
So an event that I do every year is my annual cheese party that I started with Alyssa Gambone, formerly of Heavy Cardboard before she moved to Canada, and then Liz Davidson of Beyond Solitaire. We were basically just chatting back and forth on Twitter and came up with the idea, let's just go and eat cheese at PAX because why not? And we said, sure, let's just do it. And we did the first year, had a great time. We had a couple of people stroll in and see that we were eating cheese. They went across the street to the market and got some and joined us. And now it's become year 3. It's become a huge thing. That like, Sen Foon Lim is like, hey, how do I get an invite to this thing? I'm like, yeah, I'll hook you up, buddy. It's fine. We're all good. I got your hookup.
You're waitlisted.
I'm just like, oh, okay. So it's become a thing, and it's great community. It's just something that's a nice break from the day that people get to do. We are working on making it maybe a little bit more accessible to people who are working the convention hall who can't really get away for that long. Because you would have to go out, you'd have to, get your cheese, you'd have to go back through security. So we are looking at making that a community meetup event for next year so that we can include more people.
Yeah. No, it was a blast. And I made sure to set up the fromage game on one of the tables, and then we didn't play it until after the cheese party was done. But we still played it.
Did y'all have that apricot Wensleydale with the white
with the white
chocolate in it?
It was very good. Yeah, it was very good.
It was so good. I want more of it.
It didn't taste like cheese.
Mm-mm.
It was good.
It's magnificent.
Yeah. It's post 6 p.m. cheese. Cheese is my favorite.
Yeah, post 6 p.m. kind of gets to be, a problem with all the other events that are going on. That's why we try to do it like tea time or, the afternoon. But I wouldn't be opposed to more cheese. Let's have a discussion. Let's figure that out.
Cheese con.
It was good. Well, thank you for a little slice of that, Arwen.
That's such a cheesy pun.
Yeah. I will stop there.
All right, y'all. It's been great chatting. Appreciate the time as always, and we'll definitely be doing this next year. And hopefully get to hang out with you guys more. That was one low light of the con. I wasn't able to hang out as much as I'd like, but
likewise. But every time we do, it's great.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Later, Arwen.
All right.
Yeah, just like fromage, you can't do it all, right? You
can't do it all.
Can't do it all.
All right. Later.
See you, Arwen.
Cool. All right.
Man.
Yeah.
Such a good time.
Totally. So we do have one more caller, and if you did want to call in, you're more than welcome to call in as well too. It's just call-aboard.com. That's the number over here. Nope, that way, over that way.
Operators are standing by.
Yes. So let's bring in Zoe in 3, 2, 1. Hello, Zoe.
Hello.
Hey there, how are you
Hey,
two?
great. How are you?
Oh, I'm doing fantastic.
It was awesome. So I went to Unpub and I saw you super briefly, and then when I went to walk over, you weren't there, and then I didn't
Oh
see you
no!
the rest of Unpub.
Oh
But I
no!
was I,
I'm
I was
sorry.
only there briefly.
Yeah, I was hiding in Unpub most of the time. It was a super great location this year.
Oh man, that location was just primo. And
Yeah,
I'm
yeah,
grateful they had the sign there saying "looking for Unpub." That was
Mm-hmm.
awesome.
yeah. Like last year, it was easy to miss. It was like off to the side, and the year before that, it was like tucked away in our building in on the bottom floor in the back. But this year is like right in the front of the open play area. It was super, and it was probably the most traffic I've ever gotten during like Unpub. I was like getting play testing like all the time. It was super.
Yeah, because they also put all the first look games right by you too. So that was just
Yeah.
yeah, that was really nicely set up.
Yeah, on Saturday, like that whole fourth floor was like completely packed. It
Yep.
was like wild. It was like huge, and we were like planning on having like a chill hangout in the corner, and then the whole place was booked. And I was like, well, I guess not.
Yeah, on Sunday we were there, and there was some empty tables, and but maybe like an hour later we came back, or I think we got something to eat or something. We came back, and it was like packed. That was Sunday.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was wild.
So
But
tell us about how would you compare this PAX Unplugged to previous PAX Unplugs?
this one was probably my favorite of like all the past ones. I mean, I do spend a great majority of my time in Unpub. I was probably in Unpub for like 95% of the time there. Um, the other, like another 4% was in the night market line, which which was I showed up like 30 minutes late, and when I got to the line, the person that was like the enforcer that was at the front was like, don't go in there, you're not going to get anything, they're going to be sold out by the time you get up there, it's a fool's errand. And I went anyways, but I proved that guy wrong. I
Good.
got a copy of Propaganda, which is a really interesting game that I want to try. I was too late for Skyline, but I at least got Propaganda.
It's all
That
right.
game is really interesting. You have to like roll dice on like this map, and a third party comes in and gives points to one side or the other based on a photograph that the players share. But the players can only take a photograph of like 3 of the dice, so you have to like
Is it this one?
take. Yeah, that's the one. So like if you look at like the cover image,
Yeah.
like it has like these 2 blue like guys that are surrounded by these like 6 red guys,
Yeah.
but the photograph only shows like 2 blue guys outnumbering 1 red guy. So like the game is like you taking like a picture with your phone and trying to convince like another person, like, look, I'm the one that needs points, like I look at how bad my situation is.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
That's interesting.
Yeah. So
That's cool.
I'm looking forward to giving that a try. And it was really surreal. While I was waiting in line, the person in front of me asked me like, "Did you design Persuasion?" And like I had like, and it was neat. I got to like talk to a fan. Like if I had listened to that enforcer, I would have missed out on like one of my favorite parts of
There you
PAX
go.
Unplugged.
You know, don't.
So
don't
the
take
lesson
the
is
enforcer.
ignore the enforcers.
Yes, that's right.
Yeah. Agreed. Next year, you know. Yeah. So that's awesome. You got to get Propaganda. You met a fan of Persuasion, which I still have, and I haven't touched the print and play copy of Persuasion. I haven't.
Well, you might be able to get like a published copy next year.
There you go. So,
But
what game stood out to you the most this year at PAX Unplugged?
well, I was mostly in the Unpub area, so a lot of the games I was like drawn to were like prototypes. I was
Yeah.
playing a whole lot of Hollow. I some people managed to get me to flip a few times in that game. Usually I try really hard not to succumb to my dark desire, but they managed to convince me, and it ended badly for me every single time. But that game, and also I was hanging out with Joe Kelly near the end of the convention, and they introduced me to Drop Polter, which I had heard good things about, so I knew it was going to be fun. But it ended up being so fun that I had to go back onto the show floor to get my own copy.
Which game was that?
Drop Polter. It's an Oink game.
Oh, okay.
And you have to hold like these 5 like weird trinkets in your hand, and you'll reveal a card, and those are the things that you have to drop out of your hand, like using just a single hand. And so and then whoever does it first gets a bell that they add to their hand.
Okay.
And the goal is to like get 5 bells in your hand, but if you ever drop a bell, it's just gone. You like lose it. So so you're like trying to like drop these things without dropping your victory points, and I'm like I'm constantly dropping a bell, and only to dropping a bell to win, only to just get that bell right back. It's so silly and fun.
Oh, this is like a blast.
Oh, that looks cool.
Yeah, Oink Games makes such amazing stuff all the time. It's such small boxes.
Yeah. Oh, this is cool, man. I hate doing this episode because I hear about all the games I missed out on. I gotta check out Drop Bolter. That looks great.
Yeah, I also got Durian because I forgot what mechanic I heard about it, but I remember hearing something like it's some sort of a market game. It's another Oink game, but every time I go to PAX, I end up buying like 2 or 3 Oink games.
Yeah. Yeah, there's so many Oink games out there. I know Barrow's picked up the Deep Sea Adventure Boost.
Yes.
Oh, yes, I did.
We gave that a try.
Oh, he's back.
I am.
Welcome back.
I gave up. We are not getting power back in sections of my house tonight, so I'm borrowing another computer and going full forward here. So just had to reconfigure, but it's good to see you. You know, I saw you also from a distance, and you were busy, and I didn't want to interrupt. And I came back, I didn't see you, and then suddenly it was like the con was over. I was like, holy crap, where'd all the time go? So
yeah,
but I love the room. I got to check that space out, and there was quite a few interesting things in that Unpub section that I felt like I couldn't even take it all in the time that I was there, which was a few hours. But I need another day at PAX Unplugged to really actually hit everything I want to hit, quite frankly.
Yeah. Yeah. I was there up until they kicked us out. And as we were getting kicked out, we were like, I really want to play test this. Where are we gonna let's try a hotel lobby. And we brought Unpub to the notary and play tested there.
Awesome. Yeah, no, that was awesome. So definitely next year I gotta spend more time in Unpub, because I did spend a little bit of time, but I want to spend more time. So Unpub seems really cool.
Yeah, I was running around a lot, so that would probably explain why I was like a ghost, like reappearing and disappearing in the day.
Batman. Yeah, just turn around and wait a minute. Gone. Okay. So 1 second. Okay, there you go. Just messaging people in the queue. running that. Well, Zoe, thank you so much for calling in.
Yeah, thank you so much for having me on, and I'll see you all later.
Yeah,
all right.
Join us again. Bye,
Later.
Zoe.
Cool.
What's up, buddy?
I don't know. Apparently, I ain't getting power back tonight. And I mean, I have partial power, but like all the stuff that powers my computer is gone, out. So, you know, this whole setup is, I'm just like, oh, whatever, doesn't matter. But I'm going to do what I can. So, not missing this one. You know that.
Got to get that hamster roll game out.
Oh, yeah, that's true. Always down for some hamster roll. Plenty of that at PAX Unplugged. But, you know, we got another person in the queue, and I'm excited.
Yes.
Because
I had to double check who they were. Yeah.
Yeah, no, I can vouch for this one. This person is a person I had not seen for quite some time, actually. I found out they were going to be at PAX Unplugged, and I was excited because I went to college with them. And when it came down to it, you know, I was like, yeah, we got to definitely make sure we get some games in. We got quite a few games in, actually, as we'll get into. I think we got to bring them in. We got to bring in Garrett, who will be another first-time caller, by the way.
Yeah, buddy.
Hey, Garrett.
Hey, how y'all doing?
Hello.
Good. How are you?
Doing
Pretty
great.
good.
I had to
I'm
make
glad
sure you
Chris
weren't a
came
bot.
for me.
Sorry.
Oh yeah, I was in the Discord. What is my username?
That's okay.
Chris was willing to vouch for me, so
Yeah.
yeah, it was great to see you
Yeah.
guys. You know, great to manage to connect with Chris when I saw he was going. Found out about the channel through that, and it's been great to kind of see you guys and learn more how it's going. So this has been fun.
Well,
I gotta say, one of my most memorable plays involved with a game that involved you, Garrett, and that was Adventure Party. That was
a great game.
a riot. That was a game that I really did not expect anything from, and boy oh boy, it was a great time. It was a great time.
Yeah, I would agree. That's a game that had just about the right amount of complexity to like step up beyond your average party game,
Sure.
and like, but still be fast to play. It kind of meets that role playing desire. Like I'm a big RPG player, so
Oh, there you go.
yeah, it was a great party implementation of that. Like I
Yeah.
would almost introduce that for folks who are like D&D curious or things like that. That would be the best way to be like, this is what it is, and then if you liked that, now we'll get into like more stuff.
Yeah,
Yeah.
100%. That's exactly what I thought afterwards. And yeah, to your point, it takes just a little bit of a bunch of stuff to be a really cool combination. You know, it's got the aspect of a party game where you're sort of, you know, trying to make a guess as to what someone did or didn't do, and then reveal it and say, oh, you know, I can't believe you guessed that. Or, yeah, you guys, you guessed right. Same. If you're not familiar with this, by the way, basically this is taking the, you know, the tropes of D&D characters and essentially just making it everyone's turn to sort of deal with a situation. So it is still very much tied to a, you know, story and a sort of campaign, a scenario that you're dealing with. But everyone sort of has a turn to call the shot, right? What are you going to do?
Yeah.
But it keeps going. You know, the decisions are based on the previous decision and stuff like that. And then essentially, when it's your turn to, you know, call the shot, you're going to explain what it is that you're going to do on your turn, very much like a traditional D&D session, right? And then you get to roll this D20 behind your screen and try your best to not reveal how you're feeling about it when it rolls, because then you have to tell the group what actually happened based on that roll. So you have the setup and then this reality, and you've got to sell it one way or the other. And then everyone else is going to sort of guess, you know, what did he roll? He's kind of downplaying it. And then it's this fun reveal to see who guessed what and who was right on the nose. And it's cooperative. So you're all trying to get these points together as a party.
And Anthony, I got to make sure we point out too, what was fun about this was a review copy. And we do try to play our review copies that we get during the event with our Saturday night events and just even on Friday night. So What was cool was we got this in, and there was really no better place to play this than PAX Unplugged. So it's such a perfect way to do it. And it was so much fun. I have video I've got some great footage of everyone, Garrett, myself, you, really telling the stories they were telling. And I was cracking up because it was some of the moments that happened in this game were just so much fun. So yeah, it was a gem. This was really a gem of an experience for me. So
yeah, I was impressed.
I want to play this again.
Game too. I mean, you guys literally, you know, cracked the plastic on it at the table. We were playing it within maybe 5-10 minutes.
Yeah.
And that to me is prime for a good party game, especially, you know, if you're having a good time. A lot of parties, if folks are, you know, 1 or 2 in, you don't want to have to explain 20 minutes of rules before you get to play the game. It was open on the table, and we were in it within maybe.
You're rolling one die. You're not, you're not adding stats or modifiers. You're not checking any charts or anything. It's just it's roll and improv.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. What stood out though? I know we played that, Garrett. Was there any games that stood out to you during the con? Because you were quite busy playing games just as much as we were and checking stuff out. So what stood out to you?
Yeah, I think one of I was talking with, so Len was my buddy who was there with me, and you know, I would be impressed if anyone really covers 5% of things. There is so much going on in so many places that everyone has a different con in their own way. We got to, so one of the things that I definitely wanted to check out going there was to get some time in with ARCs, and managed to accomplish that. Went to the I think it was the Mox Lounge there where they had the playable copies, and that was a great space. I don't know if you guys spent any time there, but they curated a really nice atmosphere for folks to kind of play collaboratively and build in there. It was sort of a mini version of the, you know, LFG area. But yeah, so I think we had like maybe 90 minutes or so of the game. They just hand you the box, let you take a table, find some folks to play with, and we cracked it open. Another game that, again, as has come up already, and will probably come up some more, it's another trick-taking game in sort of its own way as to the way you determine the nature of the roles that you can take, or kind of the actions you take in this sort of 4X element of the game, is by following the lead suit and sort of playing cards off of that with your hand and your so for us, two people who, again, you know, shook open the box and went from there, there's a little bit of setup. Something I really liked about the game is that there is an element, depending on the number of players, that shakes up. There's kind of like a small deck of cards, and let's say like, all right, use these 4 for 2-player, 3-player, 4-player, and those cards determine the starting position for the game of where your forces start on the map, like how many cities you have, you sit. So it's not a static start. It's a you know, slightly dynamic start that allows for you to play a couple different versions of the game. So I always like anything that kind of adds to replayability. In addition, you have like decks of cards that there's sort of a bidding mechanic, a little bit of a meeple, you know, worker placement bidding on things. So that deck, as it sort of creates exceptions to the standard rules, allows for a lot of replayability depending on the cards that even come up on the tables or kind of come up for availability, is really going to change the table and the way you play it. So yeah, we had a good time with that. It's probably needed some more time. I would say, you know, we had 2 folks for it. I think it really probably starts to hit its stride more to 3-person. And we played obviously the small box. If you're familiar with Roots or you know, any other games from these, there's the core experience, and then there's about another 20 pounds of game design that you can add on top of it. So, but the core game was sweet. You could pick it up and run with it. So that was a good time.
Nice.
Yeah,
ARCs I definitely want to try out at some point. I wasn't a fan of Root, but I really like PAX Premier 2nd Edition, which is same designer Cole Worley.
Sure.
So definitely want to give ARCs a try at some point.
Yeah, I feel like it has a different vibe from Roots.
Cool.
So I'd give it a run at the table. And I was describing it to someone earlier as it feels less like a strategic war game, or where you're kind of trying to like screw other people over in the course of the game, and almost more of like a race with some bidding mechanics in it as to like how you're sort of interacting and trying to edge out each other in different ways. So yeah, worth giving a shot.
Tabletop Reviews says ARCs takes pieces of Root and pieces of Oath.
Oh, yeah, that's fair.
So interesting way to describe it.
Yeah. The other thing that, you know, not a small company by any means, but I was actually impressed. I got to, you know, I went to the Wizards booth and they were doing their like Magic the Gathering sort of introductory thing. So I've played Magic since like I was a little kid, like with Fallen Empire, but my buddy Len had never played, and they had a structure that was set up where you could come in, they sort of showed you their little infomercial video, but then they gave you a free deck. And then from that, you turned around and they had tables set up, and you went and played a scripted game against your friend that walked you through all the mechanics, but without having to explain the rules. Like literally, it was just here's the deck, here's your step one, and you played back and forth with that. And he really picked up the game from that. Learned a lot. There was a little bit of flavor text with it that kind of helped it stay a little bit engaging. You just played 5 rounds and you finished that. Then you went up and you got to pick another color deck, and you got that. No charge, no worries with it. And it was great because we did that maybe first thing on Friday when it was a little quieter. And whenever there was some downtime or we were killing time, for food, we both had 2 decks in our pockets we could pull out and, play a couple games at no cost. So I think it was a really smooth way for Wizards to continue that pipeline of bringing people in. Of course, the first one's free, but
I'm about to say, so what you're saying is Wizards making sure the first one is free,
100%.
and then they'll come and break your legs later.
Yeah. They even had their pathway for like, now that you did this, let's introduce you to tournaments.
Here's a subscription service. And try Commander. And
but it really did, like watching it, seeing my buddy pick it up. He'd always been kind of, interested in Magic, but hadn't taken the time, enjoyed that. I saw a bunch of people at the tables around me who were having fun and kind of getting it. And as the experienced player with it, the way they did the teaching of the game took the pressure off for you, where they could learn a lot and then you could just have some fun games from there. And so, I thought that was a really well executed kind of space. So that was cool to see.
Yeah, I saw the line for that was pretty big too at some point. To learn to play
I'm sure
Magic.
On Saturday, I mean, the line for everything on Saturday and going forward was pretty big. But yeah, also, they're giving away free stuff. So
that's also true.
Cool. But yeah, so those are great. The other thing I loved outside of like board games, so probably the games I picked up what is it? Moon Roller, which is the like push your luck dice version of Moonrakers. That's kind of, and that I'm looking forward to getting onto the table. Seems like it's shorter games, faster to get on. Played a little bit with the demo of that. Production still looks great for was it IV Studios, I think?
Yeah, IV. Mm-hmm. I saw some friends of mine playing that too at the Home to Suites.
Yeah, so that's fun. I think just faster to get to the table, faster to play through, and has this element of you basically have your dice, you're bidding through, there'll be different jobs kind of on the main table, and you're needing to roll the dice to meet certain elements. And as you go through it, what I like about it is the way, like, so those cards you have in that picture there, you'll have different stuff you need to accomplish on those. If you run out of dice, and as you sort of like claim pieces of it, there's usually like 4 objectives you have to get of like, oh, you need like 3 green for this and 2 orange for that, and so on from that. But you might kind of, your engine sort of peters out, and let's say you only claimed like 2 of the 3 spots. Now those are available for the next person to finish, and they'll claim the card, but for the areas that you covered on it, you claim those victory points. So it's not a total loss to you if you invested heavy into that and didn't quite, make the turn to grab it. You were really counting on a wild to show up or something like that. Yeah. That you still end up collecting some points. So there's not that total feeling of like really losing out on the situation, and it keeps you more engaged and kind of ready for the next thing and feeling like you'll do that to them the next time around. So that was fun. That, and then I spent some time at the, was it 1XP, kind of the indie small press solo RPG table over there. Picked up a handful of stuff that was really great for them. Nice. They're the same guys that have like the zine subscription that they do like a couple zines a month. So picked up Duckborg. Looking forward to that. The DuckTales Morkborg.
I'm about to say Duckborg.
Oh yeah.
Up with a woohoo after. Yep. I see Squirrel is in the queue.
Oh yeah. I wish people could see his face on that one.
Oh my gosh, Duckborg.
We see it. Oh god,
dope.
That's great.
Yeah. So picked up some of those. Handful of stuff from them. So looking forward to digging into that. But yeah, it was a great time. So first time I'd been back since 2018. Did the first 2 years and then took some time off. So it's great to see it sort of growing and really taking over the whole exhibit.
Yeah. Well, we'll see you there next year, right?
Hopefully, yeah. We'll see how the hotels and all that stuff works out. But yeah,
that's true.
great to see you guys over that time. Great to chat with you now. So
Yeah.
Awesome.
Hey,
Thanks for
Thank you
calling in.
yeah, absolutely. Take care.
Later.
thanks, Garrett.
All right. Well, we got to keep the line going here because we've got some people. The next person is not a stranger to the show. We got a chance to see them as well. We got to enjoy dinner with them, a small meal. And I know only there for one day, but Mr. Coaster, come on down.
Come on down.
You're the next contestant. No. Hey there.
Hello.
Hello.
How are y'all doing?
Good.
Oh, you know, doing the best now that you're here.
It's good to see you, but I got to ask, you had limited time this year compared to previous years. So I'm really intrigued how you went in and made the most of this time, because obviously limited time and so much going on. I mean, it's the biggest I've seen PAX and ever, quite frankly, from my own personal experience. So, how did you do that?
It was not easy. I'll tell you that much. We only had the one day, and so we knew that was going to be a little bit of a challenge. And you want to see as much of the expo hall as you can. You want to play as many games as you can. My wife has had some knee issues. She was having a tough time getting around last year, especially with the crowds. So we kind of agree we were going to kind of watch it and try and give her a chance to take it a little easier. So we ended up getting a medical badge, which ended up working out fantastic for her. So if you got anybody who has a little trouble getting around, highly recommend that. They were so accommodating. And a couple times she just decided I need to sit down. So she was able to sit down in the badge area near the free play.
Yeah.
And then I went running around the expo hall, demoing some stuff and buying some games because she's like, I just can't keep walking. I need to sit down. So that was really huge for us to be able to do that. And so I ran around a lot and was getting, buying games, demoing games. And then we did get one game in the first look, and we played something in free play later. But there wasn't a lot of time. The time goes by so fast, and we got one meal that we brought back from the terminal market. And then all of a sudden it's 6 or something, and we talked about playing some more games, but she was kind of done, and she said, nah, let's just go home because I'm really worn out. And now she's sick. So so we haven't actually been able to play any of the games we bought yet because she's just been feeling miserable. But it was a whirlwind. I wish we had more time, and I really want to go back the 3 days again next year, because it's just hard to get a lot done, and we didn't get to play games with you guys at the homes and suites. So hopefully we'll get to do more of that next year. But it's hard to do much in one day. I mean, you can do some, but not a lot.
You can get whammed at the Iron Hill Brewery, though.
You sure can. You sure can. And we had discussed before we even met you guys there. What happens if the cover of Last Christmas plays?
It's okay.
That's what I
covers are okay.
I figured that was probably the case, but I said, hey, I'm not the rule maker here. I don't want to rule on this.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was great to see you guys there, and I wish we'd been able to play some more games.
So,
look,
yeah, go ahead.
I was gonna say, look, we take what we can get, but thinking about the games you did play, what stood out? I mean, or was there anything that you also picked up that stood out that you're looking forward to playing?
Yeah, there was. In fact, Power Up, which I've seen a couple of people show as a surprise or a big game of 2024. I demoed that. I was intrigued by it. And I was looking at Skyrise, and I was just like, oh man, which level of Skyrise should I get? But I wasn't sure if that would be something, my wife would be as excited about. And then I demoed Tower Up, and I said, this I can get to the table all the time. It's got some of the same qualities, but it's very simple to teach, simple to learn, but there's definitely some depth to it. And it's really fun. Really enjoyed it. So Tower Up, I think was a really good one. And we played first at first look. We played Australis, and that's with the turtles and the current and your dice drafting for action usage. That was fun. That was something she was interested in. We played it right off the bat, and we both we got paired up. A couple people wanted to play with us, and we had a great time playing with them. And it was a lot of fun. It was a fairly light game, but something you could teach to a lot of different people, and it had a good bit of fun to it. So that was another one. Let's see. I'll look back at some of the games.
Well, while you mentioned that, I'll just note that Cosmos, I got a chance to kind of get a mini demo of this at Cosmos themselves, and this one grabbed my attention. It's a beautiful looking game.
Yeah,
but
very much so.
Thematically, I imagine it's going to just kind of reach out to a lot of people because they see that cover and they see that turtle. Like it's just going to grab them just with that alone.
Absolutely, it definitely grabbed my wife. And then when we we're muddling through the rules there, and once we got around it, it was like, okay, we all saw where it was going, and it was pretty snappy, looks great. So I'm sure we'll be picking that up when it's out. I picked up Cities. I haven't had a chance to play it yet, but it looks really good. I hear a lot of good things from people. We did finally pick up Rock Hard, which is fantastic. I played the prototype with Jackie at Dice Tower West.
Oh, cool.
Probably maybe 2 years ago. Which when I saw that was available, I was like, heck yeah, I want to play Rock Hard Prototype with Jackie Vox. And so, yeah, it was nice because I got to know her a little bit, and the game is very similar. Obviously, the production is finalized and stuff, but didn't change a ton. But what I played, I really liked, and looking forward to playing the full production game of that. But there were a lot of good games, and there were a couple of things that when I left, I was like, oh man, if I thought about it when we were heading out, I forgot I was interested in Kelp, and I was going to pick that up, and I just lost track when we were scrambling to get out. But hopefully I get to play that again. That looked really interesting too.
Yeah, I saw a few people picking this up.
Yeah, I think they sold out of it at the show.
I definitely picked Kelp up. Kelp was on my list. Kelp and Rock Hard. So it looks like we had a similar line of thought in terms of I was between a few things, but Rock Hard was an easy pick for me because the theme and with the replayability of that game, in my opinion. And then Kelp was a 2-player. So love to hear it though. Some great choices for sure.
And we did, we picked up a couple of small games, picked up a couple more Oink games. The Masked Man, I think. And trying to think what was the animal wild animal or Wild Kingdom, something like that. So I picked up a couple of those and a couple of other small ones. We got the holiday version of Green Team Wins.
Yeah, us too.
Oh, and I saw on the Discord, I saw you guys post pictures of Hamster Roll, and that looked interesting. And I looked into it a little more, and I said, I need to own this. This looks really fun. We don't do a lot of dexterity games necessarily, but I'm like, I can convince my wife to play this. This looks really fun. And so I did find it at the 25th Century Games booth, and they had a handful of the bonus pieces that came with the Kickstarter. So I was like, yeah, well, give me those. I'll take those too. So we picked that up, and that looks like that's going to be a lot of fun. Sometimes you need to mix up the something like that with the heavier games, with the more serious games or something. So
Hamster Roll is very serious. Just so you know.
It looks like a blast.
Ask a man of the meatball. because we ended Saturday night at like 2:00, and then we hung out for a little bit after. But we ended Saturday night with that game at 2 a.m, and it was a very intense game. So
I bet.
needless to say, not because it was 2 a.m, it was just an intense game, and pieces were not falling, even though pieces realistically should have been falling. So it's so much fun.
Did you check him for super glue?
It was me who was winning, so no, I didn't have to.
Stick him.
But yeah, it was a great show. I just wish I had more time. I ran over to the terminal market because my wife was having, a little tough. She was getting her knees get kind of worn out, and so I was running across the street, dropping the games in the car, going to the terminal market, going to grab lunch, bringing it back over so we could eat something, and while we waited for the next round of games that were going to chase down in the expo hall, it was just a real scramble in a short period of time during that day. But as everybody else has mentioned, fourth floor, first look, Unpub, free play, amazing.
Yep.
Amazing.
Best
We were able to find room up there. It didn't feel overwhelming. Last year it was chaos, and you couldn't find any place to sit. Even at free play, we were getting squeezed. So this time there was a lot more room to spread out. We didn't feel quite as crushed. Still was busy, but and then the entrances, we ended up coming in both entrances over the course of the day, but way better. It was just a piece of cake. We just cruised right on in, and it was great, much better. I'm wondering what in the heck is going to be happening next year, though, with the marathon. The hotels are already crazy price, and just having the marathon and PAX going on that same weekend, it's going to be interesting.
And BGG Con is the same weekend too.
That's right. Yeah, BGG, not in the same town, but
BGG Con is much smaller in attendance, so
but that's gonna be interesting.
That's gonna hit the vendors, in some way or form.
Well,
there may be some that have to.
Smaller vendors are going to have to make a choice at that point.
Well, yes, folks that have a team of like 1 or 2 people are going to have to make a decision.
But again, the choice will be made. But yeah, no, look, always a pleasure to see you. We hope to, hopefully nothing changes. We see you again next year at that same time, and
absolutely,
we'll make up. We'll get a game in or 2 next year. We'll bring Hamster Roll.
Absolutely, yeah. I look forward to rejoining the TT Con Express next year. That was a lot of fun last year, so looking forward to joining that again.
Yeah,
awesome. Interesting. Arwen, good point, by the way. Yeah, she talked to some vendors, and they're either splitting or focusing on PAX, which makes sense because PAX. I saw it today that PAX is, if attendance is accurate, it will be like the second largest this year outside in the States, outside of like Gen Con, I guess.
Yeah.
So
in the US,
yeah, I believe in the US that it would be the second largest in the US. I would have passed Origins.
There you go.
Awesome.
So there you go.
Yeah.
All right. Thank you, Mr. Coaster.
Thanks,
we
guys.
love having you.
Yep. Send our love to Mrs. Coaster. Hope she feels better.
Will do. Yeah, hope she does. Yeah, she feels terrible. I'm fine, but she feels awful. So hopefully she gets better.
All right, later.
All right, bye.
Cool. All right, let's go down the queue.
Yeah, we're keeping it going.
So we have a first-time caller who just joined our Discord. Let's bring on in Andrew in 3, 2, 1. Hello.
Hi.
Hello.
Hi, Andrew.
Hey guys, how you doing?
Hey, good. Welcome
Good.
to the show.
Thank you. I'm doing pretty good myself.
So was this your first PAX Unplugged?
No, so I've been going since the first. This was the second PAX Unplugged that I've gotten a chance to go with my girlfriend. And when we met, a lot of the initial shelves in the house were kind of my stuff coming in. And she was always really interested in the hobby. So it was something that, the convention wasn't something she had gone to yet. And she's like, she loves D&D. She loves TTRPGs. And once we started going together, it was already up there as like one of my favorite conventions I go to, but now it's by far my favorite every year. and she loves it. And the collection is like multiplying times 2 because now she's buying games just as much as I am.
Oh my
There-
goodness.
Yeah, that will happen.
That's a good problem to have, though. you
Right,
know?
right.
Yeah. And by the way, where are you calling from?
I'm actually in Pennsylvania, so we
Oh, okay.
are 45 minutes away from PAX Unplugged.
Oh,
It's not
excellent.
that far for us.
Yeah,
Holy
not
mackerel.
too long of a drive. Anything standing out for this year? I mean, we've talked obviously with a lot of people tonight about just how did this feel different? Was this, what improvements have you seen? I talked a ton about the free play area being improved upon, but what stood out to you this year?
Oh man, so it's funny. I hear a lot of the people that have been hopping in talking about being in unpubbed all weekend, and that's an area that I've actually never even been to in all of the years that I've gone. So we played in the tabletop free play area a lot, and this year it was so busy that we were able to find seating, but it was tough sometimes with big groups, and we kept going past that entrance where the escalators are going all the way up top, and we're like, what's up there? Like, I have no idea what it is. And the final day on Sunday, we took the escalators up, and it was just quiet, and there was space everywhere, and I'm like, what is this?
Amazing, right? It's
How
heaven.
did I not know about this? Yeah,
Heaven is in the skies.
So I hope it's not super packed next year, because I really, really want to play there next time. We played in the free play area most of the time, and then in our hotel lobby a good chunk of the time as well.
Awesome. So what game stood out to you the most?
Oh man, so after listening to everybody talking, I'm gonna sound like a broken record with a lot of these games.
That's okay.
All right.
I would say the biggest highlight for both of us and like our group of friends was probably Adventure Party.
Yeah.
So
Nice.
yeah, we walked past that booth, and the art caught us, and she loves D&D, so we were just like, oh, this, like, we both love fantasy, and we were like, what is this? Like, can you tell us more about it? Just, sell us on it. And the guy explained it, and as soon as he said, you roll a dice, you have to explain it, and then everyone else is going to guess off of you, we're like, how much is it? Yeah, and we had a blast, and we actually had one person that is very shy and very uncomfortable when it comes to like role playing. They're not very used to it yet, and she did great, and she loved it. So I was like, this is everything I wanted it to be. And we're just super stoked because we have 3 kids, so being able to get them in on those easy games as well is just like, it's perfect.
Awesome.
It's funny though, because again, we talk about games like that do they deliver as a party game, and there's so many party games that I think feel samey. Like, oh, here's a word, now we're gonna this was, I think, standing out to me for that exact reason. It was different. Not a lot of party games feel different anymore.
Right. And one of the things that was a cool connection to it was we went to a booth for Pocket Bard. So we didn't know what it was. And we are huge campaign game players. Like, we love the big Oathsworns, Gloomhaven, all that kind of stuff. And we always love having some kind of like ambient music in the background, like something that's fitting to like what you're doing. And there was a booth for Pocket Bard, and like, it's just an app that has a huge variety of audio that you can play for free, and has music for like taverns. You can adjust the audience in the tavern. You can make them louder, lower. Cool. You can change, like, it has like battle music. It has like anything and everything you can think of. You can add vocals to music. You can disable the vocals and just have the instrumental going. And Adventure Party actually had some of their music is like in the game. Like, it actually advertises it. They say, hey, use this, and they literally tell you, use this song or this music in this app to go along with like this scenario or something. So it's one of the coolest things that we found that wasn't necessarily a game. And they have like a ton of free stuff right off the gate, and then you can kind of buy stuff additional over time that they add. But it was really, really cool. It was awesome.
That's a great idea.
Yeah. We were like, oh my God, this is perfect. We need this.
Was there a cost associated with the app, like a small fee, or is it just a free app?
So the app is completely free, and there's a big chunk of stuff that's just right off the bat that you can just play for free.
Wow.
And then over time, they're going to add more stuff. So I think they said the next set of audio tracks is going to be cyberpunk themed.
Oh, there you go.
And then those will have like a fee. I don't know if it was a monthly.
Yeah, it says monthly $7 or
Yeah.
annually $50.
Yeah. And like I said, you can adjust the audience. Like you can have like tavern people talking in the background. You can have vocals on, off. You can adjust everything. It's one of the coolest things I've ever seen, and it's perfect for like big campaign games.
That's cool. I'm all
Yeah.
about immersion, so
Yep.
that's fun.
Oh no, that is pretty. I love that different stuff too, because I stopped by the indie publisher booth and
Yeah.
I spent about an hour over there, which I have never done before. And the stuff that they have is so cool.
Oh yeah.
Like there's a whole thing about introducing D&D to to kids and teaching them to be a DM, and I found it fascinating. And it's again not the world I'm normally in, but then they have an entire section dedicated to the solo RPGs where like 1,000-Year-Old Vampire and other pieces that I knew a 1,000-Year-Old Vampire, but all these other pieces were in there. So I spent a good hour talking to them, quite frankly.
There's so much. It's amazing.
Yeah, it blows my mind how much that was a big mission this year for me, was just trying to see more things I normally had not seen in the past. But no, that's awesome. Yeah, did you I will say you obviously, will you plan then to probably try to hit Unpub next year? Because I'll tell you, we had all been really poor about hitting Unpub. This year at least we were in the vicinity and tried it a little bit. So next year I feel like we need to improve upon that. Like I tried a few things in the Unpub, but like we're talking an hour or two at most. So I'm like, I need to like really up the ante next year.
Yeah, I mean that's definitely a priority for us. I just like the quiet. I mean, it was just nice to kind of have all of that noise dialed down a little bit.
Yeah.
So yeah, we definitely want to shoot to go in there, and if we can play there more versus the free play area, we're definitely going to try to do that as well. I saw SETI was in there. I haven't got a chance to play that yet. I'm really excited to try that game out. But we played and purchased a lot of games over the weekend. So there's a lot of stuff. I know a couple people mentioned Souvenirs of Venice. I don't know if anyone mentioned that. Same people that
mentioned that one.
Oh, that was only 2, right?
Yes. Yep. So that one was kind of my first kind of small box game. I tend to lean more towards the really big, heavy stuff. And Amber is like someone that likes the really big, heavy stuff, but she also likes the tiny, fun, compact games. So she kind of gets me more into that realm of like introducing me to stuff like this. And my buddy had this extremely simple game. A bunch of tiles are going to be on the board, and kind of the main core mechanic is you're going to roll a dice for movement, and at the beginning of every turn, you have to flip a tile over. And the only way you score points at the end of the game is if you have a set of 3 matching one of these like icons here.
Mm-hmm.
And the ones that are worth more points, there's less of. And the ones that are worth very little points, there's tons of them all over the board. So you're trying to do this, but you also have to try to escape before all of the tiles get flipped. Because once that last one gets flipped, the game stops. And if you're not on the plane, then you don't get any points. And if you leave and you don't have a full set and you have anything that's like still not part of a set, you lose those points.
That's interesting.
Yeah. So
That's like a little twist on Deep Sea Adventure. That's interesting.
Yeah. And I wasn't the biggest fan of Deep Sea. I did appreciate it, but this was like, it was just so chaotic and just fun. And there's little mechanics to it too. Like whenever you get to a tile, after you do your movement, you can purchase a tile that's face up so everyone sees, and you put a coin in place of it. Or you can look at one of the ones that are face down privately. And then if you choose to purchase it, no one sees what it is, and you put a coin there. And then in the same variant there, like whenever you get to a position where there's a coin, you can sell a tile back face down. So it kind of extends the game a little bit when it goes face down because it has to get flipped again. But it's just chaotic. Like having 4 people jumping around, grabbing tiles, thinking they have enough to score at the end, ends up being a lot of fun.
That sounds awesome.
Yeah.
Cool.
Awesome.
That was probably my highlights. I picked up Freedom 5, which we got to play today. That was one that I was a little iffy on making the purchase on because I wasn't one of the backers, but and I said I would buy it if I saw it there, and picked it up there, played it tonight, enjoyed it a lot, had a lot of fun with that. Pretty simple co-op game, not super difficult to understand, but I don't think there's going to be tons of copies available, so if you don't get it relatively soon, it's going to be hard to get.
That's why I heard about this one.
Yeah, but if you like that superhero theme, like for me, growing up loving superheroes, being able to play little superheroes beating up henchmen and villains, and you have very powerful actions where you're jumping all over the city and doing all kinds of different things. It was a lot of fun. I really enjoyed it.
Nice.
Awesome. Well, I gotta say, I appreciate giving us a call in. Awesome. So many first time callers tonight. We certainly always enjoy it. This is always a ton of fun.
Thank you.
And yeah, call back anytime. Hope you'll hang out in the chat and see what else everyone has to say. But thanks for calling in and sharing your experience.
Yep. Thanks for having me, guys. Have a good one.
Yeah, good to meet you.
Have a great night.
Cool.
Rolling.
All right. I know. The calls keep coming in. This is fun.
Yeah.
And we got no stranger to the channel. No stranger, in fact. Let's just bring him in 3, and 2, and 1. Hello, Squirrel.
It's a squirrel.
Hey,
gentlemen. It's been a while since I've been on.
It's been a minute, man.
It has been. Sorry about that.
No, you're busy chewing through the power lines at Barrows' house, right?
Yeah, something like that.
Something.
Jeez.
How you guys doing?
I'm back in my element. Back calling and aborting. I'm glad you're here to
punching tickets.
Join.
After the whole October Ghostbusters thing, you're back at it.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah.
I would like to say it ends, but we still have more things going on, which is a good problem to have. It's a good problem.
It is. Yeah, that's good. You're always busy with something that you enjoy.
Yeah.
But you were pretty busy. I saw your schedule at PAX Unplugged, so you were working the media circuit as well.
I was doing quite a bit, yes. But I'm glad that I got to take some time out to have some dinner with you guys. Thank you for the invite. I appreciate it. It's always good to sit and chat with you guys and eat some good stuff. That's also where I met Mr. Coaster actually for the first time. I know he's been to a few things before that I've been at, but I've never actually seen him. So that was good too.
He does exist.
But yeah, had a good time. Had a real good time. Yeah, busy schedule. I didn't really have much time for myself. I was telling myself, I was like, I'm going to be in the first look room. I'm going to stay there all day. That never happened. I managed to play like one game up there.
Yeah.
But that was it. Just the rest of it was just doing some other things in other places. But it does mean I have quite a bit to talk about if you guys want to hear.
Yeah.
Yeah. What's standing out to you this year?
Well, I mean, standing out to me. Well, first and foremost, I just want to say, welcome, Garrett and Andrew, first time callers. It was good listening to you guys, what you had to add to it, especially Andrew's campaign games, the whole sound around like music setup and everything like that. I plan on starting another campaign of Descent, and I might actually look into that for the ambiance around that. It'll be my third campaign running of that. But as far as like what was played, I could tell you a few things. So in the first look room, there was only one game that I got to learn. It was the new Vladimir Suki game called Resafa.
How do you spell that?
Resafa.
Okay, cool. Thank you.
Yeah. Unlike many Vladimir Suki games that I've played before, I feel like it had more of a what is the I can't think of it.
Was it very Suki?
It was not as Suki as I thought. I mean, but like there was elements of Suki in there. So what it is you play a card. There are 6 cards per round. You play 3 cards per round, so that's 18 cards because there's 6 rounds. But when you play a card, you do 2 things. You do the action of the card. You also do what's known as a color action based on the color of the card. You can do them in any order you want. But it's very, very point salad-y. Like if you see on that picture that you have up there, that is the trade routes. You could do that. You can also do the canal actions, which are on the right-hand side, which you like building a canal, almost like barrage style. And I say barrage because that's the way to say it. But I'm getting a lot of eye rolls from you over there.
That's okay.
Yeah, you're like running water down these canals as you place them, and that's going to get you a lot of points too. you getting cards over there on the right hand side, and also you're getting very special powerful cards as you go up the tracks. If you notice those on the top right top side, there's like 4 different color actions that you can do depending on the color that you do. There are like 6 different actual like main actions that you do based on what you play from your card. It's just a lot of, I would say, kind of engine buildy, but more point salad. And yeah, it's definitely unlike most Sukis. It's more like Blackout Hong Kong.
Ooh, I love that game.
Where like the cards that you play matter. But yeah, something like that. But that's Rasafa. It took a while to learn, and it was quite a long game, but I'm sure I can cut it down to like 2 hours or so. But I will say, based on the components, the MSRP of it, which is I think around $60, is really, really good. So
yeah,
definitely now one of my favorite Sukis that I've played. And I played a lot of them. Underwater Cities will remain my top, but this is a good second or third, I'd say.
Nice.
Yeah. Another fun one. If you guys want to do a really good party game, do any of you play poker?
Are you going to talk about the
I
gang?
haven't in a while, but I think I know what you might be bringing up.
I think we're going towards the gang.
Yeah, it is the gang. So this was probably the most fun I had at the con. It was Saturday night. We were wrapping up the main exhibition hall was closed down, and got together with a group of friends. In fact, some that actually played on your channel. There's Gabe and there's John. They played with you guys at one time before. But we played the gang. Now in poker, you're trying your best to not declare what your hand is, whether it's strong or weak or anything like that. But in this game, you are trying your best without saying what it is and what you have. You're trying to convey the strength of your hand in order based on other people's hands. And to do so, like you grab chips in the middle. So if like you have 6 players, there's chips 1 through 6 in white for the first round, yellow for the second round. Let's say like you open the hand and like your open hand is pocket aces. You're going to snatch that 6 up because like that is the ultimate best hand that you can possibly get in poker at the very beginning. But then let's say the flop, it's like weaker. So you're going to get like a smaller number, maybe just because you probably think you don't have the strongest hand at that point. So maybe you go down to like a 5. But the ultimate goal is to have the correct order of your hand after the river is placed out there. So but you can't tell people what you have. You can't be like, if you have aces, you beat me. You know, that's too much information. You just have to be like, let's think about it this way. And you're trying to get 3 successful correct orders before you get 3 failed orders to win the game. There's a lot of, I'm going to use this old phrase, hooting and hollering at each other. It's like, there's no way I have the worst hand. There's no way. Stop giving me the 1. There's no way. You know, things like that. It's just a lot of yelling as far as that's concerned, but it's a good kind of yelling. It's really fun.
Yeah, I'm with Coaster on this. I haven't tried it, and I did want to give it a shot. Looks interesting.
I thought it was interesting that, and I think I might have said this to you, Chris, but between this and combos,
Combo,
right? And I feel like I'm
formerly
missing
known as Surfasaurus Rex.
Surfasaurus Rex. That's right.
Yes.
Yeah.
There was one more game, and I can't think of it now. That
The
had
greatest
this
card
sort
game
of
ever.
What is it?
The greatest card game ever. Flip
7.
No. That was good, but that had this sort of shared. We're trying to make a collective best hand out of what's being produced by everybody, and I'm.
It did seem like
that I can't think of a third game.
It did seem like you're right, like a thematic thing that was happening.
It'll come to me.
I do have to ask you, Squirrel.
Yeah.
How good of an understanding of poker did you have for this game to be a good experience? Did you need to have a good understanding, and if you didn't, would that undermine the experience overall, do you think?
For example, what is a pocket ace?
We had the nuts. We had
okay.
I'm a squirrel, I can say that. But that's actually the term. But we had 6 people. We had 3 people who didn't really play poker at all. One of them didn't know poker, period. And then we had 3 people who played poker. I was one of those, and then there was 2 others. And we did really well. I think we were successful. We got 3 successful runs of the correct answer. And the people who didn't really play poker, as long as they knew what the hands were, there is a little cheat sheet that comes with the game about like what's the best hand and how to get it. They did understand it, and they did follow suit with what we were saying. I think, to be honest, yes, I think the three people who play poker were the ones who were the loudest as far as like conveying things. But I don't think that was like anywhere near something like alpha gaming in a game like Werewolf or anything like that. I think it was very, very well planned out to do something like that. Did you use specialists or challenges? No, but they had them. I know what you're talking about. You're talking about like the promo jokers and things like that. We didn't do challenges because we were playing with new people. But there are challenges out there. I don't know what they are. I don't own the game. It's funny also that you brought up Flip 7 because that's also a really good one that we played.
Flip 7, I don't think I went more than 3 to 4 hours at any given time without seeing someone playing Flip 7. And I don't mean in the convention hall. I mean, like, if I went to sleep and woke up in the morning, someone was probably playing it in the damn lobby. Like, that's how much I saw Flip 7. It was crazy.
It was pretty popular, for sure.
Yeah.
Are you there? I think you froze.
Yeah, he froze in a very...
Oh, my goodness. Oh, he's back.
He's back.
Yeah, it seems to be freezing. Sorry about that. But you're right. I caught what you said there, Chris. Yeah, Flip 7 had a pretty decent sized booth for just this card game, but it was always being played.
And they did it well. They set it up like a blackjack table. The guy had a visor on and everything. It was
the designer was there though. Like the designer was there. You were playing it with the designer for most of the time. I mean, he was fantastic. I got to talk to him a little bit, and great personality, and he was running the show over there. It was very cool to see.
Yeah, it was a good one for sure.
I noticed that I'm cutting out a lot, so I'll just talk about the last one real quick, and then I'll make my way out. But one of the things that we did also was we met up with Asmodee. So Asmodee had a special event, which was in a room on the far corner. And the first thing they said was, we've never done one of these before, but we're going to show you about 10 games that are unannounced. No one's ever announced them before from Asmodee. And this is the video of it. If you want to.
Oh man. That's like
anticipation.
Anticipation's killing.
There's a lot of cutting out, I can tell.
Well, if you want to, you at least got to finish that sentence. If you want to, and then you cut out. So if you want to, what did they say?
Oh, if you want to live stream this now, you can, because this is going to be the first time we show everything that we're showing. And so at that point in time, we had people like Bonacor, the Podfather. We had quite a few pretty famous streamers doing things in there. But there were about 10 games. There was a Zool duel, by the way, which I'm just going to tell you guys who's happening. But the big one that I want to talk about that I'm looking forward to the most is Great Western Trail, El Paso. Yeah, take a look at that. It's a very small, streamlined version of Great Western Trail. So it's got almost everything Great Western Trail has, but it's much shorter. It's very, very compact. It's in a smaller box. It's one of those like rectangular sized boxes.
Yeah.
And I played it. Normally with 2 players, you play until 9 cementals are taken. Whenever you make it back to normally where you deliver things, you grab a cemental in this game. Normally in a 2-player game, you grab 9 cementals, and that's the end of a game for a 2-player game. We played to 4, and it was very quick. We got that done in 10-15 minutes. The explanation is, if you know Great Western Trail, you'll pick it up just like that. But yeah, this is definitely one of those that they kind of turn Great Western Trail into, I'm not going to say a filler game, but I would say that this could run at maybe a third of the time that the regular Great Western Trail would. So like in a 3-player game, maybe a Great Western Trail game would be an hour and a half, 2 hours for you. In this, it's probably not even 45 minutes. It's probably 30 to 45 minutes for a 3-player game. It's that quick.
Cool.
Nice. Yeah, definitely looking forward to this.
That sounds interesting.
It does.
A smaller, compact Great Western Trail.
Yeah.
The lesser Western Trail.
Yeah.
But yeah, those are the major ones I wanted to talk about. Had a really good time at PAX Unplugged. I've done a few things I've never done before. So, like for example, I did something called a mega game, which is a 6-hour game with 40 plus people in it, where you're basically each person is playing their own kind of board game, but in a bigger capacity. Like for example, I was doing negotiation and resource management. We produced the food out of everyone in the room. We produced the food. So people were coming to me and trying to make negotiations. Hey, what do you need to make food? How do I get food from you? Well, you give me this, I'll give you food. I'll make you food. And it was just a big production kind of thing. It was really, really good. But granted, there's a lot of things that would possibly prevent a lot of people from going to PAX Unplugged next year. But like PAX Unplugged is where it's at. That's my home away from home. I know Chris feels the same way for sure. He's always said that. But I will definitely be there next year through thick and thin.
Yeah.
And see you guys again, of course.
Awesome. All right. You have a great night there, Squirrel.
You guys do the same.
There's Squirrel. Bye-bye.
A good time was had by all.
A good time was had by all.
A good time is still happening here because we've got another caller. And I will just say this is a man amongst the meeple. I played quite a few games actually with this person, so we're gonna bring them in right now. Boom. Welcome, my friend.
Gentlemen, how are we?
What's up?
Good. How are you?
I am wonderful.
Yeah.
So good.
I like hearing that. I like hearing that. I mean, look, PAX Unplugged, always a good time. I always appreciate, I will say on a personal note, because we always end Saturday night. Everyone else is usually gone to bed by this point, and we're usually rocking out some game in the lobby of the Home 2 Suites. And we did again this year, as I mentioned earlier. And it was an epic game, I will say, because I kept watching the pieces that should be falling.
I still have no idea how the laws of physics were just totally thrown out of the window during that game of hamster roll.
Ryan, you would have been proud of me. You would have been so proud of this game. I know, but you don't understand. This game, it's like the dexterity master that you are. I took it all in and I put it into this game.
Okay.
So you don't understand. Things should have been falling.
I believe
completely.
You.
So
it was like this, and it was just sitting there. Like, how does that not go? I don't know, but it was awesome. Such a good time.
Oh yeah,
that's a good one. So, how would you compare this PAX Unplugged to the PAXs of many past?
So a couple things. Number one, I'll beat it to like a dead horse, like everybody else has. Fourth floor was awesome.
Yep.
So good. Like I can't say enough about how good having that space was. And I wish I would have spent more time up there.
Yeah.
I was with so many different people. I was with my, 4 of my friends who I haven't seen in, over a year on Friday. And I was with my buddy George, who came down on Saturday, and I was supposed to meet my uncle there on Saturday, and he brought 2 of his students with him. And then on Sunday, I was with, some other people. So it was like, and everybody wanted to be on, the main show floor. So I kept, finding myself on the main show floor. And it was cool because, I kept seeing things that I had missed the first time by. So I would love a 4th day of PAX just so I can devote one whole day to being, up on that 4th floor. And I hope they do it again next year and they continue to do it because it was such a smart move on their part.
Well, fill out those. I would say to people, fill out those surveys. They listen to them. I would like to think, and
I did that today
because we've seen the results of filling out those surveys in the past. So fill out those surveys. Tell them. And everyone who's called in tonight clearly loved it. So if we all do it, that's at least 10 people saying it, and
at least
I can't imagine we're the only ones based on what we're hearing tonight. So
yeah.
Not the only one.
And the other thing I really noticed this year, I don't know if you guys felt the same way or not, but I felt like there was no big box game that was like the game to have. I feel like the small box games were the games to have this year.
Mhm.
It was so nice not carrying 40, 50 pounds of games on my back this year. I bought so many small box games. It just kept being small game after small game, and they were hitting for me this year. So with the except maybe like I saw a lot of people doing Slay the Spire, but outside of that, like it was everybody I talked to. What'd you get? It's just all small box games this year.
I'm not going to lie. This little thing right here, Panda Panda, which is a review copy, I'm going to point out. I've had a chance to play it now 2-3 times. Just as an example, like this is tiny and it's fantastic in my opinion. I'll talk more about it on a future episode. But like that combo, I saw a lot of Rebel Princess because I picked up Rebel Princess that I talked about earlier. The biggest that I was looking at constantly was that until the last day when I picked up a few things, when I picked up Rock Hard and a few other things, but it was mostly small games that I was focused on those first few days.
I think the biggest box that I brought home this year was Charcuterie.
Oh,
that was it. Everything else, like I did 3 Oink games. I did a couple games from Sashi and Sashi. I did a lot of Japanese games this year. The group
cool
I played with
have a booth this year too. Sashi and Sashi.
It was cool. Yeah, them and Origami right next to each other was great. So
it was awesome.
Well, there was some gems over there too. I mean, we played a bunch of them. So
there was. I mean, and I know we're going to get to like some of the games that really stood out, but did you guys get a chance to check out Overparked?
Oh, yes. I'm glad you did because we actually played it multiple times.
What a phenomenal game! I got the demo from Daryl, the creator of the game, the designer. It just spoke to me on so many levels. I loved this game. I loved it so much. I cannot wait to play it again. I loved it so much.
Yeah, we played this. Ryan had
I bought 2 games at PAX Unplugged. I bought Black Forest and I bought Overparked.
Yep.
And Overparked I was pretty happy with so far.
Yeah, phenomenal purchase.
Yeah, it's a cool tile layer where your tiles can drive, which I think is a really unique concept, because usually in tile layers, once you place the tile, you're done,
Yep.
So it's cool to have that option to kind of move them around.
100% agree.
I also love that everyone's going into simultaneous play. Everyone's playing down a tile. Everyone gets a card, and it's up to whoever the start, whoever the active player is to determine where the steering wheel is going to go, and then everyone else gets a card. Super clever. A lot of things going really well with this one.
Yeah, it was also simple to pick up and play. Like it didn't it was. Again, I like to say when a game doesn't overstay its welcome, it's a great thing. This was a pleasant game that when it ended, I was surprised it was already over, quite frankly. I was like, wait a minute, that's it? Like, we're done? And I kind of wanted to go again. I mean, that tells me how good of experience I had with it. So
yeah, because when you played, it was a 5-player game.
Yeah,
but
it moved.
3, it did 5.
But it moved.
Yeah,
I don't care with 5 players, 3 players, whatever. It moves because of that simultaneous action, which again seems to be thematic between this, Fromage, a few other things. So, man, if that's a thing we're going to see a lot of in the next year, I'm down. Like, give me more of that.
Yeah,
I'm in for that.
I agree. And then most people probably don't know this. I am not one who is a big trick-taking game fan. However, Saturday night totally opened my eyes. So obviously, one being Rebel Princess was great, and I so thoroughly enjoyed that. However, Lord of the Rings, the trick-taking game, maybe one of the best. It's the best trick-taking game I've ever played.
Hang on,
just, like hands down.
It has like three subtitles, doesn't it?
It is.
Read the title.
The Lord of the Rings,
Lord of the Rings,
Fellowship of the Ring, trick-taking game.
There it is. Yeah, Lord of the Rings, the Fellowship of the Ring, trick-taking game.
It is the best trick-taking game I've ever played.
It is fantastic. We played through 6 rounds. We got through 5 We lost the first one, right? But we played for fun. It really, look, I think on paper a lot of people see this and they think, and I think it's easy to if you just play the intro. Say that's just enough. It's the crew. It's the crew. Okay. No, it isn't. And I am a Lord of the Rings fan. I don't think it matters if you're a Lord of the Rings fan or not. If you're actually looking at what they do with this game, if they did this with another theme, it would still be fantastic. So I was really impressed and had a great time with it. And again, Garrett played in that game, who's here in the chat as well. And he had never really played trick taking to that level. So the fact was, like, it was nice to see entry level trick taking players with people who've played trick taking, and ultimately we were able to all dive in. And Garrett's right. We had to stop ourselves from playing another round. Like, we had to say, no, we're done. We're done. And it was fun.
It was very hard because, when you guys are like, all right, let's go on to something else. Like, there was a part of me that was like, nah, let's do 4 more. Let's just get to 10. Let's just get to 10 and go from there. Because
quite frankly, we could have ran through that. We could have ran through the entire box if we at a certain point, and we would have been fine with it.
I just wanted to see, because it got progressively harder and harder and harder. Even that was it the 5th chapter that we played, where we looked at the characters that everybody chose, and we were like, how is this going to happen? This should not be able to happen.
It felt like a miracle that we won the last one.
100%. It was. I love the little backstories that they give you, how it's thematic. Obviously, I love Lord of the Rings, so it hit for me on so many levels. Like, I was not able to get a copy for myself, but
they flew.
It was pretty well.
It will be out, and I had talked to someone. They said they were really bummed that they couldn't bring more to the event, and that they really hope people can enjoy this one. But keep in mind, this is the Fellowship of the Ring. There's 2 other stories, so that means we're going to get more of this, as far as I'm concerned, or at least I hope. I don't have any official reporting on that. I'm just saying what I hope.
Are you hopeful for?
Yeah.
You're starting the rumor
now
mill?
it's compared to the crew a lot. Does this have how many missions does this have compared
18,
to the crew?
18.
Okay, so it's 18
and
chapters.
The promo there's a promo, so technically I'll have 19 because I think I have mission 16 and a half. So but yeah, so 19. But again, the comparison to the crew in the sense of an ongoing adventure, sure, but mechanically, no. This has improved on the crew in every single possible way. It's not the crew. And I like the crew. That's not an insult to the crew, because I like the crew a lot.
See, I was not a fan of the crew, but this game, I loved everything about it. Everything about it.
Yeah, it was a great time, and again, we did have to kind of tear ourselves away from it. But I will say, I'm glad you mentioned Rebel Princess too, because it was my first time playing Rebel Princess, so that was cool. But yeah, some good games there this year, and again, that theme of those smaller games being incredibly popular, and I'm glad it's not just me, because I've loved the smaller games more often than not. I feel like in this past year,
I wonder if a lot of it has to do with things that are going on economically, right, in the world, between the recession and the port strikes and all this stuff. There are probably some companies who maybe made a move to that, and then you've got companies like Button Shy and Oink who are already, that's kind of like their MO, right? But I think, to your point, that a lot of people are trying to get a smaller price point, but just as much value from it, right? But just less of a dollar sign. And that was definitely the theme of the con, for sure.
I love it.
More space, smaller games.
Yeah,
that's it.
Theme of the con.
It's a win-win.
More games in the same amount of space as one big game.
There you go.
That's true. You can. Do you know how many of these tiny little games you can fit in a Calyx? I'll find out. I'll size it up.
There you go.
Do the math. Awesome, man. And again, always so good to see you, and appreciate it. For those who don't know, on Saturday night we always do our little mini Tabletop Express con at PAX Unplugged of sorts, and chill out and hang out at our hotel. Always good to see people there, and we'll always, as long as we're there, we're going to plan to do it somewhere. So stay tuned for that next PAX Unplugged. But appreciate you always being a part of that one.
I always appreciate you guys as well. It's always great to hang out with you guys, especially on Saturday night at PAX. It's always a highlight of the con for me.
Yeah, man.
Love it.
Give us a ring
Love
when
it.
you're in New Jersey.
Yeah, we'll do, guys.
Awesome.
Awesome.
All right.
Thanks
All
for
right.
sharing.
All right, guys. I'll see you.
Later.
Have a good night.
Yep, you too.
Cool.
Wow.
Yeah.
That was a run. I mean, I wasn't even there for the first 2 or 3, but I love seeing all the new callers tonight. It's so exciting.
Yeah.
That was a nonstop.
We had 2.5 hours of calls.
Yeah,
By the
that was
way,
fantastic.
but we're not done, by the way.
Uh-oh.
We're not done because I have
happened?
something that I need to share. So bear with me 1 second where I
Okay.
figure out where they actually went. Hold on. And we got one more. So hold on.
Ooh.
What's up, Tabletop Express fam? This is Chris from Chris Couch Games and the Nerdy Soul, the Geek in Sneaks here. I just wanted to say thanks for swinging by my booth this weekend. It was great to meet y'all, and I don't think I'm going to be able to call in live to this.
Oh, no. Did it freeze there?
Uh-oh.
Uh-oh. Did you freeze or did you pause him?
No, it froze. We're going to let load in. It's loading
in.
up. Hold on. It's all loading up because the video is like larger, so I can't just like.
I got to
stream
introduce
per
you to
se.
Handbrake.
Well, you know what I was operating with tonight? I'm operating on a computer that's not
saying.
even my computer.
Saying. It's amateur
Alright.
hour right now, man. It's amateur
I'm
hour.
operating on a computer that's not my computer. So, I wanted to make sure we got them all in. And just so people do know, if you're on our Discord, I will always drop the Dropbox link so you can drop your videos in here.
For a voicemail.
Yeah, for a voicemail. Let's see if it's continuing.
Show, but I love y'all show and love everything y'all are doing. And so I want to drop this little video to you and just, chime in with my PAX Unplugged experience. It was my first PAX Unplugged, and I loved it. It was a doozy. Philadelphia just feels like a proper city. I just think that the city as a whole has a lot going for it. Honestly, it feels better than Gen Con for me as just a place to go meet people, play games, a much bigger, wider open space, but still so many vendors and demos for you to hop into, and a lot of really cool releases there as well. I felt like it was a real gamers con with the Unpub and various ways for people to be involved. So yeah, big fan of PAX Unplugged. This is some of my haul from the convention. Well, this is my haul from the convention, not some of. This is all. I didn't have a crazy haul this year, but some of my surprises for the convention, I think. I just want to go through some of them. One was Desperate Oasis here from West Coast. I love this little 2-player game. I got a chance to demo it. I'm friends with them, and they are some really great people. Ito is another one that was sort of a sleeper hit for me. A surprise for me was Incognito. This is from Cosmos, and this is like an escape room in a box. And so you're trying to sort of survive as an FBI agent that is incognito in jail. Let's see, another one of the games that I really liked was Defenders of the Wild. I picked this up by Henry Audubon. He's like one of my favorite designers, such a cool guy. And this box art in the box, I love that it's the size of this box. It's not crazy big, and it just feels like quality, just straight quality. So Tea Garden was my number one game for the convention for me. I reserved it, picked it up early. This is basically like viticulture, but making tea. So I can't wait to play this. But anyway, that's all. And appreciate y'all again swinging by and checking out my game, Holiday Hills. Here, we'll be coming to Kickstarter in February. So yeah, I was really honored y'all got a chance to come play it. And thank y'all for letting me call in. And I'll let this video, it's gone too long already. Anyway, much love from Memphis. Catch y'all in the next one.
Awesome. Yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah, no, it was fun. We did get to try out his game and had a good time with that one. A really beautiful looking game that it was a really good experience. We actually, it was funny because we played with like 2 different sets of people because 2 people came in midway through, not knowing the full rules. And I gotta give kudos here because obviously when you're playing a game like this, and you've got people playing your game, I should say, you're getting feedback, right? And I just, it's always interesting to watch like people give feedback directly to a designer. It's one thing to give feedback, but to watch people give feedback, like I don't think I thought about that from the perspective that we had it. So it was interesting. I had a good time with it. We'll definitely probably talk more about this in the future. And I believe he's also going to be sending us number one of his games, that is first design as well.
Yeah.
So
Yep.
We're going to have a number one of his designs to check out too, which will be pretty cool. But it was a delight to meet. And it was just a lot of fun. And one of the most responsive people, I got to tell you, in terms of the outreach, because what people might not know is a lot of times I'm sending a lot of emails before this event. Well, I sent a lot of emails. Some of you who might be watching this got an email from me telling you that we're doing the show tonight. So I always appreciate that quick correspondence, and grateful for that. So thank you for calling in.
He was hustling for sure.
Oh yeah, to say the least. He was busy too, because he had his table, but then he was also demoing in the demo hall, so he was all over the place.
Nice.
I don't know when he had the time to get those games, actually.
Yeah, really.
I'm trying to figure out when did he get those games. But yeah, oh man, guys, we had a great con. I just want to say, and I'm excited. We got a lot of games to cover in the next few months, so you're going to be hearing about a lot of games from us. Really quick, what
was there a game that you wanted to talk about?
None
of us talked about any games.
You know what? The only one I'm going to mention really quick. We'll do quick ones because God knows how much power this computer even has. Because there's no power in this. No plugs are working. So Combo. I want to talk about Combo really quick. Played Combo by Happy Camper. Happy Camper because of Trio, which I love Trio. And I got to tell you, this game got so many plays. I think I played this like 4 or 5 times at the con. I played this with my family since I got back. Really simple, playing to what you were talking about earlier, Anthony, playing to poker hands. But the difference is you're playing for the combo of all of them on the table. And when this game hits the table with 5 or 6 people, man, it's crazy because there's so many different potential things happening. And if you're at the 4th highest combination of cards, someone plays that one that makes it the 5th highest, and you just lost all chances of scoring points because you were scoring points based on the cards that are in the combo that wins. So you're sort of talking to each other throughout, which I thought was really cool because so often we're told to not talk to each other in these games. So to me, again, I really liked Combo. I thought they did a great job with it. And if you like Trio and those sort of style games, you might like this one. It definitely takes a little bit more of a Trio to kind of play game time wise. But I think it offers a lot. I recommend it, though, I'll say. 4 to 5 players, 4 to 6 players, it really shines just because so much potential in terms of combos on the table. But really like that one. And I was glad I was able to grab that at the con.
Nice. Anthony?
Yes?
You leapt out and dived in nose first
into the ether.
Into the ether.
I brought you aboard to play Cosmic Frog for the first time.
Oh man. I'm so glad I took the plunge.
I'm glad you took it too.
It was a lot of fun. And we got to play with someone we just met too, which was great. In that great 4th floor area that we were talking about. Yeah, finally got to play Cosmic Frog, and it was very enjoyable and less complicated than I thought it was going to be, but more chaotic than I was thought it was going to be.
Super chaotic. There's nothing else like it.
There really isn't. There really isn't. And it's funny. I think I said this to you afterwards. It was like, at the end of the day, it's really such a simple concept of really just building patterns sort of on your player board.
Yeah.
But it's how do you get those pieces, that all this madness comes into, and are you going to be punched into the outer dimensions for a few turns? Are you going to be, crushed or stolen stuff stolen from your vault? And yeah, it was a good time. I'm really, really glad that I played it, and I really enjoyed it a lot and would play it again in a heartbeat So
Yeah,
thank
yeah.
you for
No, it's a blast,
for
and
teaching me.
that's a game I always love just bringing to conventions because I feel like conventions are a perfect place for like those games where, um, finding other gamers that want to try
Yeah.
some of the heavier stuff, and I relish into teaching new people how to play Cosmic Frogs.
Yeah, but that game's heavier with a. It's heavier, but you have there's enough luck. I feel like in just who's going to go on your next turn because you're not guaranteed to even go for like 5 straight turns. You might get 3 turns in a row. I feel like anyone can ultimately come into that game, and unless you're just really anti playing anything that's an hour and a half to 2.5 hours long, I think anyone can get into that game because it just you get immersed in it. So
yeah,
the play didn't feel very long.
No, it didn't feel very long.
Yeah, you did the short version, I know, but still, even so, I feel like
true.
it's. Even so, the long version can end just as quick. It's all, but it's again. I just think that game can engross you, right? And it's really become a PAX Unplugged tradition at this point. There's always at least one game of Cosmic Frog. So there we go.
Anthony, what stood out to you?
What stood out to me besides that, again, to your point, it was so cool to be able to play some games that I just normally wouldn't play. Like when we played Cthulhu Death May Die, like that was nowhere on my radar at all to try. And it was awesome. I mean, yeah, we messed up a couple times and technically played wrong, but it was still really fun. My character was awesome because he was able to die once and come back to life without any major catastrophe happening. And to see those, and by the way, Dr. J, whose game it was, painted a couple of the minis and did a phenomenal job on those. I know he wanted to do more, but what he had there was quite impressive.
I'm going to highlight the work of Dr. J. I don't know how good the camera is on this computer particularly, but this is the.
Oh yeah, there you go.
There's my Bucky that he made for me. So.
Do you think he uses his work materials to like really look in? Because he's an eye doctor, right? So he probably uses like.
Oh, you're picturing him using like the.
Yeah, for like the really fine details.
Oh
man,
man!
Imagine like after hours,
Yep.
like like when you're waiting for the doctor for a while, maybe Dr. J's is painting miniatures.
The other really cool thing that I was glad I got to be a part of was the only ticketed event that I participated in, but that was Ravensburger had their Ho Ho Horrified holiday party, and besides having a real life Krampus roaming the
he was great.
The hall, which was really, really cool.
Yeah.
Because he was in character like
all the time.
100%. But yeah, we all got to play with the Krampus monster, the promo expansion in the World of Monsters base game. And it was great for me because Horrified is one of my favorite games, as you guys know. And you can't really get this Krampus expansion unless you kind of buy World of Monsters now because it comes with it allegedly, but there was a big clamor about that online because all of us, that bought the game before now don't have this thing. So I was glad that I got that opportunity. And I got to play with 3 people that I never met before, one of who had never played Horrified at all. And then a couple who have the original, but didn't really delve too much into the other versions. So for me, it was fun because I got to do a lot of the teaching and explain the different versions of the game and how things look different. And besides all that, our game was so epic, and it really, really came down to the wire. We only played against Krampus and the Yeti. Everybody set that up purposely for the demo, and if you've never played the World of Monsters one with the Yeti, he's got these 3 like little kids that you're trying to basically rescue and bring back to the cave and then calm the Yeti down so he can take care of his children. With Krampus, there's also 3 children on the board, but a very different aspect because Krampus is trying to capture them,
right?
And you're trying to protect them. There's by also saving them because there's Saint Nick is on the board as well. So we got down to the second to last death tracker lost that we were going to lose, and we were hovering there for so many turns. One turn we managed to save all 3 Yeti children and calm down the Yeti. And so appease him, and all in one turn he was done. And we were so close to winning the game, but Krampus attacked some loser villager, pompous guy. Like, what are you? Come on, dude. What are you doing here? Can't you see that we're doing something? We're trying to save the world, and he had to go and get slaughtered, and then we lost the game. So it was a very epic one. It was a loss, but it was really fun. And now I just can't wait to get redemption on Krampus.
That's awesome. I'm glad you got to play that one.
Yeah, I know that was important. Look, and I will just say, outside of games, we say this every year. It is still the truth. This event, I think when I talk about this event, PAX Unplugged is really about people for me. It's about seeing people who I see every year at this event. It's about meeting new people. And if you found us because we met somewhere, or you met, someone else who, however we all met, we hope that we're at a table with you playing a game next year. And that's the beautiful thing to me about board games and the board game community. It opens these doors to so many wonderful things. So I just want to express my gratitude to everybody. We have so much fun. This was our 4th year getting to go there as media or content creators, which the title don't matter. And we're grateful for it. We do not, take it for granted. We have a very busy Friday, but that means when we sit down and we play a game, I'm going to tell you, it's exciting, quite frankly, because I love getting to meet people and, with the publishers and find new games, and those meetings are awesome. But when I actually get to sit and play a game, I am genuinely excited. So thank you all if you sat down with us to play a game or just hung out, whatever it might be. We appreciate it, and we hope you'll hang out with us next year. And like I said, we'll always do our Saturday night, one way or the other. We'll find a way. We'll see what happens with this coming year and the marathon and all that, but we're not going to fret it. We're gonna just do the best we can, and plan to be there. That's for sure.
We'll figure it out.
Before we queue up next week, what's the video?
Next week is a holiday party.
Woo!
Yeah. And cool thing, we're going to play some Green Team Wins. Now, we're going to run this in a way where we're going to have to be strategic about this. We're going to find a good way to do it. We're going to run a game of Green Team Wins. So we will be asking everyone to participate. You're going to have to be in the comments for that one. And we're definitely going to have to do some math in terms of, okay, do we have everybody, etc. But we're going to make this work. If I can find a better way to do that beforehand, I certainly will. But we're going to have Green Team Wins. We're going to do the holiday edition. Maybe some other fun stuff. Who knows? But definitely Green Team Wins. And if you're there, we're also going to be able to do something fun, which is we've got a copy to give away. So the holiday edition of Green Team Wins, someone's going to be able to get that sent to them.
They'll be on the greenest team.
Yeah, the greenest team. The greenest team. So, yeah. We will see.
And with that, and we'll see you next week.
Toot toot.
Bye, y'all, and welcome back, Rachel. See you later, Rachel. Bye bye.
Bye bye.